Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth, along with,
Hey,
because when it's about sports
you know what? It becomes our business.
and business, like Ludacris said, business just picked up on a wacky Wednesday. Is that correct, Bunny?
Yeah, it has been wacky. But I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing. Amen, amen, amen. What about you? How you doing?
Hey, I am doing well. I cannot complain. Just grateful that we're able to be here throughout this pandemic and have great shows with great guests. And be alive and well, man. So I'm not gonna complain. Just happy that we're able to do another Wednesday night sports delight for everybody.
Gotta give the people what they want.
There we go. See, we got to get you a different slogan, because we don't want Jalen Rose to be trying to sue our show for
Oh my
his
God.
words.
Did he copyrighted that or something? We were using that at Lincoln Homecoming. We was doing that though. That was before
okay.
Rose and Jacoby show.
So he got that from y'all. Okay, that's it. I got you. He got that from y'all.
Look, you got to scroll back to a few years back of some homecomings, and you'll see that hashtag. I promise you. Just go through my pictures, go through other people, you will see the hashtag. I promise. It's nothing with Jalen Jacoby.
I got you.
He was kicking it. And anyway.
Shouts out to...
I'm going to add you the lungs. I'm a line sisters. What's up, y'all?
There you go. Party girl. There we go. Tell them.
No, sir. Got an education. Educated woman right here.
Hey, no. Educated, but party.
I heard you. I don't have to put the butts on there. Hey,
Stanley,
this is what it is.
Shouts out to Miss Williams. She says, hi, Fred. Hi, Bunny.
Hey, Miss Williams.
Shouts out to someone that you may know very well, Stanley Goodwin. He says, sports is our business and business is booming. That's what it is.
So silly. Oh, I'm sorry. Stanley is so silly.
And then Miss Williams says, did you see the news from MLB? Yes, we will be talking about that. We will be talking about that. Yes, we will be getting into that later on once we have Joe on for Joe Knows. So, yes, definitely stay tuned for that. But a great day in regards to news for, like you said, the Negro Leagues. Very big. Pretty much going to change a lot of record books, a lot of everything for Major League Baseball. So we definitely look forward to discussing that very soon. But with that being said, make sure y'all go ahead and like this stream right now, whether you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube. Do us a favor and just hit that like button. Let's let the whole world know what's going on with this show.
Like it.
Yes, because it is very, very special that we have a special guest tonight, and I'm excited, man. You excited, Bunny?
Am I excited? I'm showing my age here, but I remember on Friday night sometime, my daddy used to pack us all up in the minivan, swoop on around the corner to Thekla Avenue, hit up CRCP so we can see them lion men featuring our special guests and two other players do their thing.
Man.
First time seeing Dunks in person was because of CRCP and our special guests.
There we go. And before we bring this man on, make sure y'all go on YouTube, subscribe, click on that
bell.
Because anytime we go live,
you get notified.
See, there you go. She came in with that LU dance. You get notified. Hey, you know what? Wait a minute, everyone. Shouts out to the sweater that she's rocking right now. You gotta show the whole sweater, Bunny. There you go. Drink up,
Grinches. Get into the merry holiday mood, okay?
There it is.
Drink it up. Pandemic and all, drink at home, be safe, drink up.
There we go. Shouts out to Jerron Sutton. He said, Smooth the Bunny, what's the word? What's going on with you? Thanks for your support.
Tell me, Mr. Sutton, you tell me what the word is.
All right. Stanley Goodwin says, Daddy would tune in to see the players and the legendary basketball coaches, Bobby Knight, John Thompson, Coach K, etc.
I told y'all my love of sports and specifically basketball is because of my father. They sure we was tuned in. It was a special reason to stay up late or to leave an event early to get home to watch these games. That's why I was telling Annie, when she asked about being a Georgetown fan, shoot, that's all I knew about college. I didn't know about a Mizzou or a so any Sloop. No, I knew Georgetown first.
Right. But I have
look, our special guest, one of his co-partners in crime on the court.
Exactly. And from what I was told, he has some funny stories to tell. So we look forward to that. Miss Williams must love your sweatshirt because she's laughing at it, or maybe she was laughing at me talking about your dance. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But once again, y'all, it's an honor. It's a privilege, man. We keep having special shows with great guests. Very entertaining, engaging, and tonight it does not change. This man here, they say that he is the first All-American from the city of St. Louis. Man, yes, okay. That's what they say.
Put us on the map.
That's what they told me. This man went to Cardinal Ritter, like you said, right there on Thekla. He wasn't out there in the city, by the V. He was out there off Thekla. And West Florissant. Y'all know what's happening out there. Y'all know what's happening.
Man, when it's dark, you in trouble. You better hurry up and get your butt home.
Man, this man went to Wake Forest, then transferred to Arizona, went to the league. He has so many stories that we can't wait for him to tell. So without any further ado, everybody, drum roll please, Bunny. Show some love to our special guest, of course, via Zoom, Mr. Loren Woods.
Hey, Mr. Woods.
Mr. Woods. There it is.
Live and in living color. What's up, buddy?
I feel so uplifted right now. It's an honor. First, it's an honor, and it's a privilege to be able to be on this show with y'all, because I was on a little bit ago when you was talking about my former teammate and co-partner in crime that went to Georgetown when he was on the show, and I really loved that one. So I'm honored to be on here. Sorry I'm a little bit late, but I was at the park actually training with my kids, and had to wait for some parents. You know how y'all parents are. Parents, please pick y'all kids up when y'all supposed to pick them up. Coaches got lives too. Y'all think coaches is babysitters. Coaches are not babysitters. Okay? They there for an hour and a half or whenever the time's supposed to be there at the end of the time so the coach can leave and go home too. That's all right. I vented, I'm good now. We can get back on the funny stuff.
Tell me how you really feel, Coach. Tell me how you really feel.
I appreciate y'all letting me, get off.
He went straight for us, parents. I'm like, what
right.
Hey, I got a toddler. Well, he ain't on that level yet, but I feel you. Trust me. I have, been in the coaching circle plenty of times, and I have been a babysitter waiting for kids to get picked up. So I feel you.
It's the worst. But how y'all doing? How's everything?
Man, everything.
Living life, enjoying it. We healthy.
Yeah.
Trying to stay corona free.
Right. How's things out there in Arizona?
It's not bad. We were very fortunate. I think on both sides of the pandemic, we didn't have a shutdown that was quite like New York City and Los Angeles, and I guess California is going through the same thing, kind of again. With the numbers being so high, they have like strict lockdowns. We didn't have such strict lockdowns in the beginning, and it wasn't as long. So we're not back to normal life per se, but it's not all bad. You can be out a little bit. You can go to the park, exercise. You can meet with some people, and now you can get the COVID test now in like 2-3 days. So. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go do something, everybody go get the COVID test. Everybody test negative, then go have a party.
Right.
So wait, we don't have it like you, though, because the Midwest St. Louis is cold right now, bro. We had snow last night. It was a little dusty, but we had it. What's your weather looking like? How can y'all be outside?
It was about 70. It was about 71 today. And see, for me, that's chilly.
Oh, Lord. Here he goes. Here he goes.
That's
oh, God.
I'm going to tell you, since 2003 I'm sorry, let me take that back. I came to Arizona in 98. So from 98 to 2020, I lived in either Phoenix or Florida. So, I mean, I like my weather in between about 78 and 107.
Oh, Lord.
You know, that's it. Anything.
Now, I like that. Now, I agree with him on that. That's how I like my weather.
Yes. Yeah, shorts and T-shirts all day for me.
And I'm in the wrong region because I'm not in short T-shirts right now like you are.
I'm telling you, get on down to the Southwest. We need more of us down here anyway. Especially
but you know what? I visited Phoenix 3 years ago, and I was told it's like Atlanta. What do you call it? A city where a lot of people aren't originally from there. Everybody moves down there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I took the weather. We were there in February for a friend's birthday. Took the weather. It was nice. But at the same time, I'm like, people don't come out here enough. Like, you've been from some blah, blah, blah. You're being from St. Louis. You out there. You don't come to St. Louis office. Like, people go west, southwest. They don't come back here. Like, to visit. Not to live, just to visit. And that's the one thing I'm like, why don't people come visit back to St. Louis? Y'all just get all sunny side and that little southwest air and sun, and y'all just say, forget going back home to visit.
Just forget it. I mean, you go to Florida, and you go to Arizona, especially in the wintertime, and then you tell me if you're gonna go back to St. Louis and visit. Maybe for a weekend, you know, get some emos, get some Chinese food, do the normal things, but that only take me 2 days. And then I'll be right back.
But then sometimes you gotta make a guest appearance. I mean, you may not do this, but people that like happy hours, we like to take, you know, a trip to a happy hour and hole in the wall spots real quick. You know, I mean, you can do that the same weekend, I guess.
So when's the last time you've been to St. Louis?
Man, I mean, it's been about 5 years. The last time I actually, you know, touched down. And I mean, you know, I got tons of my friends and family are still there, but it's just, you know, it's tough to get back when the majority of my family moved from St. Louis to Arizona.
Okay.
On my mother's side, on my father's side, still a lot in St. Louis. And then, you know, like my father migrated to the Southeast. So, you know, it's not a ton, you know, like my kids are not, you know, like my son lives here. And, you know, most of my friends, like my boy, you know, Chris Carroll, who you know, my brother, he lives in North Carolina, and, you know, like all my other friends live in, you know, one of my other best friends lives in Los Angeles, and New York, cousins in Atlanta, obviously, you know, so, you know, everybody got a family member in Atlanta from St. Louis. So, you know, got family in Atlanta. So, you know, I get around, and it's just not as frequent as I want to back to that stop home, you know?
Okay, that brought my point when I said when I was out there visiting, like, no, the blacks, none of them are from there, but they don't ever come really to St. Louis either. They just like stay there and we'll catch you at a reunion or something. It's like,
yeah, at the reunion.
At the family reunion.
Look, ours got canceled. Smooth, good job this year because ours got canceled.
Mine was a little bit ago when I was out of the country when we had our reunion. I was overseas somewhere.
Are you fancy?
So I didn't even make it back to that. So,
man, that's what's up. A couple comments here. Stanley Goodwin says Walnut Park. Joe talking about your sweater. She says drink up for me, Bunny. I'm not there yet. And then crying, laughing emojis. Miss Williams says hello, Loren Woods.
How you doing?
She is one of our faithful followers of the platform Sports Talk Show. Jerron Sutton says preach when you was referring to parents pick up your kids on time because we're not babysitters. Let's see.
We have a whole segment on that, but
yeah,
for real.
And then
we can.
And then she wanted to know what part of Arizona do you currently reside because her son lives in Phoenix.
I'm in Central Phoenix. So it's like right in the mix. It's downtown, midtown, uptown. I'm uptown.
Got you.
Central Phoenix.
So does Arizona have like looks like the whole state is like a suburb. Do they have like a hood spot out there?
Everything's spaced out. Your highways clean.
It's spread out, but you know what? It's not the same. It's
Look, y'all got a Walnut Park down there. Let's be real.
You know, Walnut. There is no Walnut Park out here, but But you can venture off into some pockets that you probably don't want to be in. Let's put it like that. But nothing is like Walnut Park. No.
Okay.
And look, I got love for Walnut Park, so I ain't hating on it, but we know it is what it is. But hey, I got love for anybody, north side, west side. Hey, I got love for everybody. But again, CRTP days. I know I didn't go there, but my sister went there, my brother, but he didn't go to that location. But I knew when we went to them games, yeah, my daddy, he made sure we was all together.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I went to the new Cardinal Ritter, and I was like, man, y'all are spoiled. Like, this is unbelievable, and that's still in the city. And I'm like,
I know, but
y'all
look,
football field is actually connected to the school.
Look,
and all
they
this.
spoiled. You talking about they in the city? They in the good part. That's the Central West Indies, though. That ain't the, our city.
Yeah.
So pretty much, rappers are not allowed to do a video in Arizona. Is that correct?
They not? I ain't never heard that, but
yeah, I ain't ever heard that either.
Nah,
it might be true. I ain't seen nobody shoot no videos out here.
That's what I'm saying.
Phoenix rappers.
And we have a comment. We have a comment for someone that you may know. He calls you Little Big Bro. He goes by the name of Jahadi White.
Jahadi, my God.
Hey.
Yeah, big bro, for real. That is my dude. I mean, you know what? I mean, we ain't even got into it yet, but you know what? I'll wait.
Uh-oh. Teaser, y'all.
Wait, don't forget then.
Teaser.
Forget. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken like you, Loren, but don't forget, because you know how memories come and go. Don't forget.
All right.
And Jahadi, thank you very much for being on our show a few months back. It was one of our best shows, man.
It was so good, y'all. Because I was commenting. I couldn't keep up with the comments based off of y'all answers, but I was so intrigued and so in tune. Y'all did a great show. And all the love y'all kept giving each other too, man. Dope.
Yeah, it was John Pullman, shouts out to you. Jamie Price, shouts out. B. Baker for being there as well, holding things down with me. It was just an incredible show. So everyone who tuned in for that show and for future shows, thank you very much. Stanley Goodwin says, I went to the old Ritter and did his senior year at Ritter. So that's something else right there.
You went to whoa.
She like you lying.
2000. New Ritter was built when? Okay, you started off at the old Ritter and then Ritter from New Ritter. Okay, I'm about to say, wait a minute now. Okay.
And once again,
you do all 4 years at Thekla, whatever, boy.
And once again, for everybody watching for the first time, share this stream, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Share this stream right now. Let's get as many people to show this man some love tonight. It's all about him, and we look forward to hearing so many great stories from Mr. Loren Woods. So with that being said, a question that we always like to ask our guests: when did you develop your love of sports?
Oh, I mean, it went back for me to when I was about 10 years old. You know, that's the first time that I joined the boys club. I remember it was ABC, Athletic Boys Club. And I want to say it was like, you know, Chris was there too. We were 10. And I remember, you know, I played baseball first.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, baseball was my first love. You know, and, you know, I would watch the Cardinals games with my grandfather, and, you know, he was a baseball fanatic. And, you know, that was kind of my first love. And the reason that I even got into basketball, well, I guess when I was 10, I was noticeably taller than everybody else.
I was about to ask you, when did you get your height?
and I get into that because, like, and it actually flows right into it. When I was 10, I was noticeably taller than everybody. You know, maybe like 5'6", 5'7", which is pretty tall for a 10-year-old. And so that was like 5th grade year, and I played in the summertime. So in the wintertime, my coach was like, told my mom, say, hey, look, we got a basketball team too. He might be good in basketball. He's a little bit taller than everybody else, and you know, he might be good in basketball. I mean, I was terrible. Don't get me wrong, but like that's why I played, because my baseball coach actually coached the basketball team. So I just went with all those same players, and we played basketball. Now, you know, fortunately for me, I, you know, started off 6th grade. I was about 5'7", 5'8", And then left 8th grade, I was 6'8". So
in 2 years you grew that many inches?
Jesus.
It was about 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And all this time, I still love baseball more than basketball. I just played basketball because I was tall, and I played baseball because I loved it, and I actually thought I liked it. I thought I was good. And when I got to Cardinal Ritter, I was going to play baseball, and the coach actually, Preston Thomas, I remember he and I talking. He was like, "Look, do you think you're going to have a baseball career or a basketball career? Like pick one." And I remember, and nowadays, kids can play multiple sports,
right,
and be successful at all of them. And back then, it was kind of like you did one thing and that was kind of it. Like only the great players, did multiple sports or whatever. And I was kind of like, all right, I guess basketball is going to be what it is, So I stopped playing baseball in 9th grade, and it was all basketball from there.
Wow.
So playing baseball, what was your position or positions?
I played first base and pitcher.
Oh yeah, the pitcher's arm. Okay.
Yeah.
Randy Johnson before your time. Okay.
Right.
And that was before, all the pitchers now are tall. A lot of pitchers are real tall now. And back then it was only Randy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one back then. So.
Okay. Yeah. Would never thought of it. Figured you always been tall, but that's why I'm like, you grew a whole foot into. I can't believe your teachers sometimes think like, you can't be your age. You got to be over here getting flunked or something. Because how are you this tall with the rest of middle schoolers?
Exactly. And it was one of them things where I went into middle school, and like I said, in 6th grade, I was noticeably taller than most of the kids in my class. And in 8th grade, when we left, I was taller than everybody in the school by a foot. The tallest teacher was 6'1". You know what I mean? I was 6'8" leaving there.
So from the time that you were 6'2" to the time you came back and you were 6'8", how much attention from ladies grew just like you did?
You go. There you go. I'm ready.
It's a great question. And you know what? I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm not even going to sit here and cap. I'm going to try to be as 100% honest with you.
Please.
I had no love from the girls at all in middle school. At all. It was kind of like, well, he cute, but like a brother cute. And I'm like, I ain't trying to be no brother cute, you know what I mean?
Friend zone.
But it's crazy because I really didn't start getting love like that until high school. Because high school, I grew into my body and I became the athlete, and then I got my confidence and my swagger changed. When I was in 8th grade, I walk like this, and I hate it, and don't nobody look at me. And by the time I was a sophomore in high school, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of that dude. You know what I mean? Everything changed.
He wasn't brother cute no more, but we did say that. That's funny. When he said that, I'm like, oh, shoot, we did say that back then. He brother cute, we just cool,
Hey, Bunny, that's called friend zoned.
Well, I guess friend zone before what we called it back then. It was just like, okay. We just be cool. We'll talk on the phone. That person don't get that late night talk. That person 7, 8 o'clock. That's it. You don't get that late night talk on the phone. Y'all know we showing our age here, but
on the phone that we had the one phone in the kitchen that had that long cord.
Right.
And we used every room in the house.
Right. Exactly. Now, before we continue, our guests usually be having some dope items in their backdrop behind them. Can you tell us what's behind you right now? I see a nice little, was that like a portrait or something?
This one right here is like a saying, and it was actually a gift, and it says, "Every day is a treasured gift. Choose love, ride a bike, give a lot, smile at a stranger, stop at a lemonade stand, and end each day with thanks and a hopeful heart." And I love that. I love the entire frame, because for so many years in my life, I was very, very short-sighted in the way that I thought, in the way that, the things that I saw and everything. And it was, very, self-absorbed. And I love this because it's just all about just, being in the moment, talking to everybody, interacting with people, not being about money, choosing love, stuff like that. And it's like all of the things that were like the opposite of me for so many years. So I had to put that up. I love that. I love to look at it every day, just to kind of remind me to stay in the moment. Behind me is a big clock over here, and then down there, I got stuff all over. Down there is it's like a portrait that says determined on it. And that's just how I've been like my whole life. No matter what I'm doing, I'm just determined. I got to get it done. I got to be the best at it, or at least try to be the best. So,
hey, I feel you. So where's the room that has like all the jerseys that you wore, or if you had signed jerseys from other players, etc.?
Your little athletic room.
I don't even have one anymore. Like all my jerseys are framed. They're like in a storage thing. I've never kept trophies and medals and stuff like that. I've never been that player to do that, because I don't. To me, it's about the game. I never cared about like what you get from the game. It was always about winning or the camaraderie and stuff like that.
I thought you at least would have said you gave it to your mom and had her to do something with it, or your dad, or even an aunt or uncle, because it's storage doesn't do anything. It's just collecting dust.
Yeah, but like to me, like that stuff doesn't mean anything to me. So it's like I remember all my old trophies. I think my mom has those somewhere. I think in a storage unit. I mean, like we're all kind of like because I've always stressed to them, my parents, ever since I was younger, like I don't care about the medal. I don't care about even if I come in first place, I'll be happy for a day. Then the next day, it's like, all right, I got to get first place again and something else.
Sound like the Mamba mentality right there.
A new season, so that's just how it was.
That sounds like the Mamba mentality.
Yeah, I wish I had his mentality.
Well, it's competitive, because remember, Kobe was always competitive. Okay, I got this trophy, got this ring. Gotta go back in the gym. I gotta go get another one. Let me go work at it. It's like, dang, you can't even celebrate. That was small to him. He want to get another one. He got training, working hard. So yeah.
Yeah.
So Miss Williams asked, do you think it's better for kids to focus on one sport or play two or more sports?
That's a great question. And I get this question a lot from parents, especially with kids that are in multiple sports. I believe, this is my opinion, that when kids are younger, put them in everything, 2, 3, 4 sports, whatever, or for whatever season they're in, put them in that sport. If they love it, keep them in there the next season, and then, the next season, change it up. And there's usually 3 seasons in sport: fall, winter, spring. Summertime usually goes to the sport that they like the best. But, but once you get to high school, if you're serious about a sport, you probably should choose one sport at that time, but I mean, it takes a lot to get to the kid, whoever the kid is, will be naturally good or naturally gravitate towards whichever sport that they like. And it's being in Florida and Arizona, Arizona's different. Arizona's got a ton of baseball kids in it, and baseball is their primary sport. And then they play, basketball, soccer, these other sports as like their secondary sports. And, but when they get to high school, it's like baseball. In Florida, it was football. Football was like the primary sport, and then basketball, and then baseball and stuff like that. And then once they got to high school, like all those athletes, that most of them chose football. So I believe that the kid will naturally gravitate towards whatever sport they are good at, and, push them in that direction. And if they're good enough or talented enough to be able to play 2 or more sports very well, then why not? But if they're not, I would always, like if my son, let's say he's like, oh, I want to play football. And it's like, oh, well, you're not good at football at all. You're really good at basketball. I would try to push him in that direction.
Understood. So what led you to go to Cardinal Ritter? Chris Carrawell and myself, we played on an AAU team together in the summer of 8th grade. And
that summer we won the AAU national championship, and one of the I mean, like my first biggest moment or biggest highlight or accolade that I had. But Chris was always going to Cardinal Ritter, and our AAU coach at that time, who was a mentor to us for so many years through high school and college and everything. He just asked me, he said, "Hey, look, like you want to take this visit to Cardinal Ritter?" I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm." Chris was like, "That's why I'm going." I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll take a visit." And I had no intentions actually of going. I didn't know anything about Cardinal Ritter. Like I said, I was a baseball guy. I love baseball. I was thinking about going to like Parkway Central, or my school district was Rittner, so I was thinking about those schools. But once I got down to Cardinal Ritter, and Chris was talking to me, and then I talked to the coach, and I learned about the tradition and the history. I just loved it. I mean, it was the first day of orientation, man, and like all those kids there, and everybody was just the energy was. It felt like I belonged there, and from there I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna come here, not knowing at all what I would be getting myself into. I just love the energy.
That's what's up.
Wait, with all that, you didn't know what you're getting yourself into. You wouldn't change anything about your high school years, would you? Because you made a very big impact, clearly.
Not at all. My high school years were some of the best years of my life, because that's kind of like where I learned like my killer instinct, or which was instilled in me by my coach Preston Thomas, being able to play against and play with guys like Jahidi White, Chris Carrawell, and so many other guys who came through that program, and just being able to say, and I remember at that time, one of the biggest things that stuck out in my mind was something they always told us, was that, Cardinal Ritter was one of 2 all-Black Catholic schools in the United States at that time. And now it's probably more, but at that time it was there. I remember they would say, there's one here, there's one in Chicago. And, we that always stuck with me. It's always, like a proud tradition that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life.
Nice. So I didn't get the pleasure of being able to attend a Cardinal Ritter basketball game back on Thekla, but Jahidi White told us that it was a very small gym. Can you co-sign on that and tell us what was your thoughts when you stepped into that gym? You was like, whoa, wait a minute. Is this it? What's going on here?
All gym with hardwood bleachers. Sheesh.
That is it, man. When I tell you, I can't even think of a smaller gym. There's not a smaller gym, I don't think, that I've ever been in my life on a high school level. Maybe in middle school. But I mean, we played in bigger gyms, and like my boys club, we played in bigger gyms around the city when I was in 8th grade, like AAU stuff. Like, we played our AAU national game. We were in an arena when we played that. And we go to Cardinal Ritter. Cardinal Ritter seat like what, 300? You know what I mean?
With the stage behind the other backboard.
The one backboard. The other backboard, if you go too fast for a layup, you can run outside the gym. It's right there. And then on the other backboard, if you're going too fast, you're going to hit the stage. Because the stage is like right there. So, needless to say, I learned a lot of footwork, and a lot of, my agility and mobility came from like dodging the wall and the doors and the stage at Cardinal Ritter. But when I tell you that crowd, especially when we played like another city school, or when we played, like a rival or something like that, man, I'm talking about 300 turned into like 1,000.
Yeah.
And it'd be like right
with
there.
With the cheerleaders yelling in the background. Oh, man.
Man. One of the best feelings.
Man, that's awesome. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth, along with
Buddy.
And we have our special guest from Arizona.
Loren Woods here.
There it is. He ready, Bunny. He ready tonight.
Hey, he said he had to get ready because he stay ready.
That's right.
No practice needed. That's what I'm talking about. So, are you coming in as a freshman at Cardinal Ritter? Was there any buzz at all about the program basketball-wise?
Yeah, it was always because of, when I came in, the legends at that time were Julian and Smokey.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, and actually, I had never met or seen Julian at that time, but Smokey was there. He would be around some of our AAU practices, when I was in 8th grade, and and these guys to us were like NBA stars, like wow, like I can't even believe I'm on this same court that these guys played on, and even coming into I grew up with Chris. Well, I knew how good Chris was, but to me, he was the best player that I had ever seen at that time. I didn't attend a lot of high school basketball games. I think my freshman year, let's see, who would have been the player of the year that year? Maybe Kelly Thames might have been a player of the year. So I didn't see any high school games until I got to high school, and that's when I saw other players. But until then, like Chris was like the god, of like the AAU or like the 8th grade level basketball. And and then I saw Jahidi. Now, mind you, before Jahidi, I had never seen anybody that tall and big at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, like on my AAU team, remember Billy Kobe that played at Chaminade, he was on my team also, and Chris Carroll, like we were kind of loaded. And Billy was, he was tall, he was about my height, but, we were about the same build. And, the height, 2 of me and like 6 feet. You know what I mean?
You're a triple whopper. You was just a whopper. The height was a triple whopper. Back that way, that way.
It was unbelievable. And I came in, I was like, 6'8", 185.
Wow.
And like 6'8", 6'7", 250.
Woo!
Goodness gracious, man! Like, what is going on here? And it was almost like when I first got on the court. I remember the first day. The first day I got on the court, I wanted to quit. We playing like some pickup ball, and Jahidi get the ball, I'm guarding him, and I think he hit me with an elbow, boom, turned around, dunked it on, bop, and I was like, it's a wrap,
He's like, I ain't signed up for all this.
Y'all ain't got no freshman team. It's only varsity. What's going on?
Yeah, smaller school. That's right.
And I wanted to be like, man, I don't know about this. And I remember my coach at that time. I had never been challenged or pushed like that up until that point. And I remember my coach at that time. He said, "Listen here." He grabbed me by the shirt. President Thomas wasn't no joke. Grabbed me by the shirt. Listen here. He was looking at me like this. President Thomas about like 5'10". Listen here. You ain't never let nobody kick you off the court. You always you go at their neck. Everybody, you try to kill everybody. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's what it is. And I'm
not like baseball.
Like baseball. And to keep it all the way 100. And this is what I was gonna tell y'all. I'm the real reason Jahidi White made it to the NBA.
Really? You taking the credit for it, huh?
Now let me explain. Let me explain this.
Okay.
Now Jahidi, my big brother. He my big bro. That's my guy. But my freshman year, when I came in, Jahidi ain't never really seen nothing like me before. Guy that's tall, can move, finesse. Every day. He was that guy every single day. And then I come in there, he's like, whoa, okay, young fella might be on my heels. I got to work harder. I got to push harder. That propelled him to be the All-American that he was. And then I'm going to tell y'all another little thing. A lot of people don't know this.
Here you go.
Jahidi's record against me, head to head, is like he won maybe 1 or 2 games. I don't want like 9 or 10.
Okay.
So that was always in the back of his mind. Like, I gotta beat him. I gotta beat Georgetown. Go look it up. Georgetown. Got him out of there. Get out of there. When he was in Washington with Jordan, him and Jordan on the team. I was in Minnesota. Get him up out of here. That's Daniel. Light work. Phoenix. Get him out of there. Dundilio. Charlotte. Just pull up the stats. That's all I'm saying.
Look at the receipts, baby. Look at these receipts.
Look at it. You know, and to this day, I still ain't received no like thank you like Range Rover from Jahidi from.
No, he said the Range Rover.
Throwing it out there, you know, whatever.
You don't even say I couldn't get a thank you call, not a thank you. I don't know, a thank you trip. You said a thank you Range Rover.
Yeah, NBA players they give gifts differently than the rest of the world. So.
Right.
Clearly, you put me on game. Maybe one day if I make it to the NBA, i.e. in the executive offices, of course, then I'll see that. Otherwise, I would have no idea.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Hey, wait. I don't know if we jumping ahead or not, Smooth, because he talking about NBA players, what they give. Let me know, what was the NBA life like as far as the travel, the good times, and all of that?
You got to hold that one. We got to get to college first.
Right.
Finish that first. Then we go to college. Then we go to the NBA.
Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Hold tight.
Yeah, he was up about Pandora's box. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold on tight. hey, calm down, LU.
Oh, here you go. Really? Well, thank you for giving my alma mater love. I appreciate it. Since I don't hype up the high school, at least hype up my college. So thank you.
There you go. Hey, and Jahidi White laughing at you talking about something. I got you.
See, that's all these years.
Hey, Shani, you hear I'm trying to clown LU, but you know I always represent for us.
Oh no, it's all love to LU. All love to LU. And shouts out to LaShonda County. She's talking about some, hey y'all.
Yeah, that's my line sister. She and my lawyer. I told y'all, if y'all need a lawyer from Missouri and Georgia, that's your girl.
All right. We gonna holla.
Hey, I support black business and black entrepreneurs all day. It's what we do.
Hey, we got to, man, because if we don't do it, no one else will, right?
Exactly.
All right. So, who would you say was the person responsible? Since you said that you're the reason Jahidi White is big time, who was the reason, who's the person that pushed you, who developed you with your skills in basketball?
Easily two people in my early on years was Coach Preston Thomas. He told me, I remember, like this car ride home and, and I had like a bad game or a bad practice or something like that. And I remember him telling me on the car ride home, he said, listen, like you keep working hard, you keep doing what I'm telling you to do. And, you keep learning, you're going to be an All-American, And I knew what that was at that time. And I'm like, oh man, I've seen McDonald's All-American games. I was like, I'm nothing like them, and he said that. And Chris Carrawell, for sure, that he was a guy who, even though we're the same age, was kind of like my idol because of how good he was. And to me, and I know we people, there's so many conversations and so many people talk about who was the best and who did that and who did this and everything. But in my opinion, when he was 15, when we were sophomores, he was the best player in St. Louis. And that's no disrespect to anybody that's out there. And I can't remember who was the player of the year that year, but he was just so good, could do everything, athletic, he could dribble, he could pass, he could shoot, he was a leader, he was all these things. And for so many years, I was just trying to be as good as he was. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, well, if he's on this level, I have to try to at least get to that level just so, like for the team, it'd be better for the team.
I was just about to ask you that. How did you see your game evolve? Because you're saying how really good Chris Carrawell was. 15 sophomores, he's and you just like, okay, let me get my game up. But when did you notice your game evolving to where you realized I am the All-American?
It was my junior year state championship game. We had, I remember it like it was yesterday. We had the first half we played, it was a close game. I think maybe we were up by 2. And at the end of the first half in the second quarter, Chris hurt his shoulder. That was the first time that he had a shoulder issue. He hurt his shoulder and he couldn't continue. And I remember in the locker room, I'm looking, everybody's looking at everybody like, how we gonna win now? If Chris ain't gonna play, how we gonna win the state? And then, again, I remember, Preston Thomas grabbed me, hey, listen, it's up to you now. You're gonna lead us. And like once it finally hit me, I'm sure I was looking like, and then once I finally blinked and took a breath, like, okay, it's my time now. And then, like I helped the team win. I played really well. I think I ended up with like 30 points or something like that, 15 rebounds or something. And we won state. And I remember after that game, I was like, okay, I'm ready.
I'm the man now. I'm that All-American right here.
Hey, he like, hey, ladies.
There you go. You gonna keep it PG-13. Keep it PG-13. I don't even want to hear half the stories, please.
Oh man, he like, look at me, look at me.
I didn't go to Ritter, but Lauren, I've heard about science labs. That's all I can say. It went down in the science lab. That's all I can say.
Hey, listen, whatever happens in science lab, stay in the science lab.
See? And again, all I can say what I heard, because I never set the foot up in there. All I went to Cardinal Ritter was in the office and in the gym. That was it.
That is hilarious.
Everybody up in that science lab also were not students at Ritter either. It's crazy.
So let's see. From the conversation we had with Jahadi White a few months ago, they say John Pullman, he was that shooter. He was that guy. I don't want to say the Steph Curry, but he was that shooter. Kerry Well, they say he was that dog. He was that guy that always defended the opponent's best player. Jahadi White, we know, took up space, dominant. What would they say about Loren Woods?
I think that I was that skills guy. That just I always had like the fundamentals, and I could do a little bit of everything, but I had the touch and I had the finesse and I had the skill around the basket and I had the IQ and stuff like that, and it just all kind of developed at the same time too, because for so many years, I wasn't athletic. I couldn't shoot. I didn't know how to dribble the ball and all that. And then all these years of working on all those things, by the time I got to be, the end of my junior year, throughout my senior year, I could do all those things. And, it would be that. Oh, and they'd say, I had a piss poor attitude, but.
Hey!
I was like the loose cannon, maybe.
Really?
No.
I had no idea.
I heard them stories about you being a loose cannon and doing gestures that they didn't like. Not you. No.
I don't portray that anymore. See, that's Bunny. What you're saying now is like a decade of me cultivating a certain type of personality, and that's what I am now. But back in high school, I was a little bit different.
And.
It still had immaturity, and that's anybody at that age.
Right.
Whether you was an all-star athlete or a regular person walking down the halls, it is what it is.
So,
but
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bunny.
Go ahead. Oh, well, he brought up a good point with skills. He said you got the finesse, you had the all-around. So a lot of times I hear from coaches and even broadcasters when it comes to the collegiate game that the skills aren't taught, or the how we have in NBA, college, you talking about the stretch forward, now the big man can shoot and all that. Now they're not just the typical post man for down there, but let's just go back to the skills part. How is it now? It doesn't seem like it's being taught. Like, I don't know when you developed your skills, was that freshman, sophomore year, but now you have people on AAU teams, even in high school. If they're not dunking and kill a crossover, what else are they bringing to the table? Because it seems like the skills aren't being taught. And then when you get to college, it's like you hear the broadcast, well, how did he miss doing this or how did he miss doing that? You could tell the fundamental skills aren't there. So what do you think is lacking, or how do you think it's gotten to this point where these high schoolers don't have the skills?
Well, I actually have two different answers to that question. That's a great question. I think the skills are being taught just in a different way. Now the athletes just play different than they did, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. If anybody who's over 30 can remember a time in basketball when there were 5 distinct positions on the floor. There was a point guard, there was a shooting guard, there was a small forward, there was a power forward, there was a center. And how you did in those specific positions, how you learned how to play those specific positions is how you got graded on your skills. I was a center. I didn't get graded on guard skills. I got graded on center skills. You know, like nowadays, I mean, guys that are my height, like Giannis, you know, he's playing like 1 through 5.
Right.
Kevin Durant's like 6'10", 6'11", and he's like a shooting guard. So, you know, like nobody can tell me now that the skills aren't there. I believe that they're there. I believe that they're different than they were 20 years ago, and you have to grade them on the skills of today. And can you be able to shoot 3-pointers? Can you handle the ball while being pressured, even though the guy guarding you is a foot shorter than you? Can you be able to make the quick pass without even putting the ball on the ground when you catch it? Because that fast is how fast the defenders are now. Defenders and players are 10 times faster than they were 30 years ago. I mean, they can get to defenders and get out to, you know, close out shots at speeds that are much faster than what they used to be. So now can the player that gets the ball find that open man without thinking at all and getting that man an open shot? You know what I mean? Or that girl an open shot. So, you know, the skills are there. And what I do think that the difference is today than it was, you know, 2-3 decades ago is the accountability for the young, good players. You know, I see far too many times players that are supposedly the best players or the young players, coaches don't say anything to them anymore. It's just kind of like they roll out the ball and say, all right, you just go do you, you know? And it's not all coaches. So, you know, like, don't get me wrong, but I have seen on numerous times, you know, I have, you know, AAU teams that I've coached and that I've worked with. And I've seen, even in high school, I've seen how coaches treat the better players. A lot of coaches, not all, you know, but I think before 2-3 decades ago, it didn't matter how good the team was or how, you know, good the players were. The coach was on everybody's ass, you know, period. I don't care how good you were, how, you know, like how bad you were, they were on you. And I think that's the difference now. It's just a little bit of the let up, I think, on the accountability factor.
Good answer.
Right. So would you say that your junior year at Cardinal Ritter was the peak of your career in high school?
I think my senior year might have been the peak because of all of the awards and the accolades I received. And I think that year was kind of like, it was time for me to show the entire year what I can do. Because I think in the state championship, my junior year, that was like the only time that I really showed that I can be a leader. I can be the one to, like, you know, take the team to that next level. And my senior year was like, okay, you did it last year, but can you do it for an entire year this year? And, you know, that was the challenge that I was facing senior year. And, you know, with the help of Coach Preston Thomas and obviously Chris and all my other high school teammates, there wasn't a let up. You know, the practices were as grueling as they were, probably harder our junior and senior year than they were our freshman and sophomore year, because our coach didn't want to have any letdown because of the attention that Chris and myself were getting. You know, college coaches in the gym all the time. Everywhere we played, college coaches in those gyms. You know, people talking, us being in the newspaper, us being on TV, stuff like that. So our coach kind of, it was tough for me. It was tough for me. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of getting a big head because, hey, Fred, I was like how you were, the AO ladies. I'm all American.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm all American now.
Louise.
But it was our coach that kind of kept us down, you know, and kept
grounded.
Us, try to be, you know, as grounded and as humble as he possibly could.
Hey, ladies. I love it.
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to touch. Look, and you said we got to do it in order, so we had to hit college.
Right.
I don't even want to hear those stories because oh my gosh.
All right, so
I don't know how you keep this PG-13. I really don't understand how. But
hey, you know what? Sometimes on this show, we just got to go rated R. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to do it. You know, hey, we are all about providing great content, so we hope that we are doing that for you right now on the platform Sports Talk Show.
Gotta have a platform version uncut. That's what he's trying to do.
Hey, you know what?
Uncut.
You know what, Bunny? we actually had that before. We had a raw and uncut version, but that's back then. You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep it back then for right now. So, as you said before, senior year, you start getting the accolades and the whole nine. Let's talk about one of the maybe low points of your time at Cardinal Ritter. There was one team that in St. Louis, no matter how great Cardinal Ritter was, there was this one team that you just cannot get over the hump and brought out a certain side of you that, is very known. Can you tell everybody that one team that you just cannot get over the hump during your time at Cardinal Ritter?
Why don't you tell everybody that one?
Oh, wow. He's going to throw it back on him.
Because that was a long time ago. That was like 30 years ago.
Okay. So,
wait. You trying to expose our age or your age? That was 30. What is it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
25?
Whoa. I didn't think I was day over 30, but maybe I am.
It was the one team that played in the city.
I remember the public. That early. They didn't like you for that.
Yeah, public high school. And when I asked Jahadi about this, it's like the conversation was great, you know what I'm saying? And he was just so jubilant. He was like, yeah, so, proud and chest pumped out. When I brought up this one school, I would say he just got in the race like he wanted to play them right now.
The whole face changed. Like you took the life out of him. He's like, oh, man.
So I don't think Loren wants to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it for him, and that's Vashon High School. What do you think?
That's his alma mater, of course. But that's his alma mater.
Yeah,
I know that at Vashon High School, and I have forgotten all about Vashon High School. I apologize to any of the Vashon fans out there. It just wasn't a school that was on my radar. They just didn't have the same level of players, the same caliber of players that we had. But as a team, for whatever reason, I think we might have played them 2 or 3 times. That's the only school that I can remember that we might not even got a win against.
Nope.
But shouts out to Vashon. I mean, like those guys that like Anthony Love, one of my guys back in the day, Lamont Bonner, and they had some Danny Davidson, I think, was on that squad back then, and they had a very, very good team, man. And it was like that was the one team that would always rate, they just rose to the occasion, all the time. And I think every time we might have even been favored going into the games, and they just rose to the occasion. But, like shout out to those guys. And Coach Floyd Irons.
Legendary as well, like Coach Thomas is. So the thing about this, when you're talking about Vashon and their squads, they don't do them as much pre-pandemic. They don't do as many, but they have more tournaments. But the shootout, remember MLK shootout, Normandy Christmas tournament.
Normandy
that, all that basketball, all these high schoolers, all of y'all on this. Man.
Yeah, it was great. To me, the best time of year for me was Christmas time. And Normandy Christmas tournament.
Yes.
And with all the best schools in the city were going to be there, and it was going to be a battle.
And if you missed it like me with the MLK shootout, because that y'all was on stage too.
I remember the MLK shootout. That was so. You talk about something that was so pure. And so St. Louis, it is you talk about so St. Louis. We got emos, we got Chinese food, we got the Gateway Classic, and we got the Normandy Christmas Tournament MLK Shootout. Yeah, we talking about things that like this is so St. Louis, and I'm just happy to be a part of all of it.
Shouts out to Jamie Price. He says my dog, and then he says L Train in the building.
My guy. Jamie, what's good, my guy?
So
the L Train, okay.
So going back to the Normandy, because I'm sorry, go ahead, say it again.
I said I got a few nicknames.
Okay.
And Bunny, she's a fan of nicknames, just so you know. All right,
Hey,
so
some of these are self-inflicted, and some of them I'm like, let me hear how you got them names, okay?
or if it's 2 rated R, then keep it PG-13.
Right. Again, are they the names that? Come on, ladies. Are they giving you some of these names too? Like, come on.
No.
right.
One of my favorites. I'll tell you one of my favorite nicknames. I got a ton of nicknames, and one of my favorite ones, one of my teammates gave me when I was overseas. He called me Mr. Fantastic. And when I first, when he first said it, I was like, man, I love that. That is great. I love that nickname. And he was like, yeah, man, you remind me of the dude from the Marvel movies with the long arms. And I was like, all right. I mean, that was not as great as what I thought it was. But you know what I mean? He's a superhero. So I was like, all right, it's stuck.
So going back to which had to be the hottest ticket in town. It didn't matter if it was a concert in town. It didn't matter if it was an NFL game, whatever it was. I don't think the NFL was around back then. But whatever it was, the hottest ticket in town was once again the Normandy Christmas tournament. Tell us, just from your perspective as a player, the hype going into those games and then playing those epic games against the V.
It was all about, bragging rights, because that was the city's best in those tournaments. It wasn't, it wasn't watered down. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, some of the, as we know St. Louis to be in the past, and, I don't know how true it is now, but, they would give a lot of the county schools way too much hype and publicity, and then none of them really come in the city and play like that. And we always have to go to the county. We would always have to go to the county and play games and stuff like that. But like with the exception of the teams that were in our conference, you wasn't seeing a lot of those county schools come into the city and play and say, all right, cool. So you got your All-Americans, you got your All-State players. Like, come on in the city, let's do a 1-1. Let's do one in the city, one in the county that next year. But for us, the Normandy Christmas tournament was whoever won that tournament was the best team in the city. Period. Okay. And so it's bragging rights for us.
Now, we got to talk about it. What happened? What led to you doing the infamous 2 fingers in the air, one on one hand, other one on the other hand? What happened?
He has 2 hands, so many fingers, and one in the middle was used.
Yeah, both in the middle were used. And it was, I can't really remember what happened at that point. I think I remember, like the game just being real tight, and it was a lot of pressure and a lot of, a lot of emotion that was in that game. And I remember maybe missing a shot or something like that, or doing a foul or something, and I could just hear the Vashon fans just yelling and, just going in. And I was like, well, whatever, like F y'all, bop. And it just came up. And the funny thing is, I don't really remember it happening. I just remember Chris and my boys talking about it after the game, like, yo, bro, like you had your fingers up for 10 steps.
You ain't lying.
Just pop and then put them right back down. He was like, oh, whatever, come and see me if you got to see me. But again, it's like, it was something that was so bad, but I got so much street cred from that.
It felt good.
Because I'd be anywhere, people like, yo, man, I saw you on the news, bro. You flipped the crowd off.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It made publicity everywhere.
Yeah, that was keeping it real going wrong. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's why I told you, Post-Dispatch did not like you for that, man. I used to read the paper, the sports page a lot. That's how I learned sports and getting to know and look at stats and say y'all ranking. The Post-Dispatch always does small schools and big schools.
Yeah.
OT Ritter ranked up there, but you got a whole article on you in that, okay?
Yeah. They didn't like me, and the thing is, I've never cared about that. I never cared about, the press liking me. I don't care about no TV people liking me. I don't even care if the other team didn't like me. I only cared about Cardinal Ritter. That was it.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong. Once I left, the city, and even I have respect for all the players, you know, but when it's basketball season, it's Ritter Lions and that's it. You know, period. I don't care.
Okay, so
that Ritter pride,
hey,
buddy.
He was
like the LaShawn people.
Hey, he was the Kevin Durant Kyrie before Kevin Durant Kyrie.
Yeah. For real. I can't even imagine if I would have had social media back then.
Oh my God.
I say that all the time. I say that for college all the time. Thank God it didn't exist.
For sure.
How much trash talking do you think occurred between you and Cardinal Ritter and Vashawn?
Tons, the whole game.
Man.
And
really?
it didn't stop in the game. It was after the game, the next time we see y'all, it's on. In the summertime. Because remember, like a lot of those guys we played like AAU with and summer basketball with.
Right.
You know, we were always in the, you know, like remember the St. Louis Pro-Am League was in Vashawn. Back then.
Right.
So, you know, we were always in Vashawn, you know, like playing the Pro-Am League. Anytime we had our little high school leagues or whatever, and Ritter, you know, like the V would have their team and they would come and play. And it was trash talk all day. But it was, it was so special because of the camaraderie that we built just from being St. Louis basketball players. You know, it was like that pride, like this is the Lou. We're from the show me state. You know, we about to get on this court, and then if it don't happen this time, I'll see you next time. And then, you know, we get this one, then y'all, you know, like y'all ain't gonna get the next one. So it was all love back then. I mean, it was hate. It was love, hate.
It was hate with love. Hate with love, though, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a comment from Thomas Higdon. He says, "Big fella."
T-Mo, that's my guy. He was on those legendary Ritter teams.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Shouts out to you, Thomas. What we're gonna ask you next was
state championship was his junior year, right?
Right. And with that being said, was that Cardinal Ritter's first ever state championship?
No.
Okay.
I think Julian and Smokey
Winfield, Julian I think won one prior.
Okay. So when that moment came that you realized you're about to be a champion, how did that feel? When did it finally sink into you that, man, I'm a straight champion?
It was almost a surreal feeling because of everything that we had to endure to get to that point. Now, I'm speaking about junior year only at this time because, you know, remember, me, Jahadi, and Chris were on the same team, and we didn't win state. You know, we lost to Portageville in like the state, was at the regionals my sophomore year, which was, I mean, it was embarrassing. It was a travesty. It was, you know, like we got talked about so bad. And I just remember going into that next year, you know, me and Chris was like, we're not letting this happen again. This isn't happening. We're the best team in the state. We're the best team in our class for sure. You know, in 2A, we're the best team for sure. We ain't letting this happen again. You know, and so after that, once we got to that point when Chris going down, and we were like, you know, everybody's looking around like, well, okay, what we gonna do now? Like we swore it wasn't gonna happen, and now it might happen because we won't even got our best player. And then I stepped up and was able to help the team win a state championship. It was just a surreal feeling because who knew? I didn't even think that I was capable of such good things back then, you know? So it was like, it didn't really hit me probably until I was at home. I was at home like, oh man, we didn't want state. Like we didn't did it, you know? Like for 2 years we've been searching for this, and you know, we're on that third year, and we finally did it, you know? But it was a surreal feeling.
You had them tears like Jordan did when he won his first ring?
No, I didn't do that.
They couldn't make a meme of your face. They couldn't do that.
No. I told you, I walked out because that was back in. Do they still play state in Columbia?
No, they moved it to Jeff City.
No, well, basketball.
Yeah.
Well, 2A. Let me say. I don't know. I know V-size. Suzanne went last year. It was in Columbia.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was in. It was at the. It was somewhere in Cape Girardeau. It got moved.
Oh, that's all gone. Oh, maybe that was 2 years ago then.
Yeah, it got moved.
Yep. So I mean, I walked out of that Mizzou arena like, "Yo, ladies, the Mizzou chick back."
Really, Lord?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why?
Yes, sir.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Thomas says, best big to come through the city. Said that you scored half of their points in a state game back in '96.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, "Yep, facts."
Facts.
That's what's up.
It was tough. It was tough. It was, and you know, Tommy was there to see a lot of the, you know, he was there to see most of the improvement. But he was also there to witness the work. You know, I mean, it was grueling for us. You know, we practiced in the gym in the wintertime, didn't have heat. In the summertime, we didn't have AC. You know, and we were in the gym all day, every day, you know, 365 days. And, you know, like, and he can attest, I mean, you know, it was blood, sweat, and tears. You know, it was a lot of tears, a lot of blood, and a lot of sweat. And, you know, I was just happy to come out on the other side, you know, fairly successful and being able to earn a college scholarship and, you know, being able to play professionally.
And I know for myself and behalf of St. Louis, for all those who were able to enjoy those times, you, Kerwell, Higdon, Jahadi White, thank you, because y'all brought some exciting times for basketball in the Lute during those times. So thank you for that, man. How did your recruitment process go?
It was something that was, you know, again, 3 years prior, I didn't think I was any good at all. And, you know, and I saw, you know, Jahidi was the one that, he was the first, you know, like all American that were walking on, you know, that was walking on our floor, that brought the college scouts in, that brought the media in, that brought all that in. And, you know, I never thought I would get to that level. You know, I just didn't even think about it. You know, I couldn't fathom that I could be so good. So, you know, when I remember, I mean, my first recruitment letter, I can't remember where it came from. It was probably like a D2 school or something like Missouri Baptist or something like that. You know, like back then, I can't remember. But you know, I was like, whoa, like somebody thinks that I'm good. Okay, let me see how far I can take this. And I remember, you know, again, you know, my coach, you know, Preston Thomas saying, trust me, in 2 years or in a year, you will have every single school in the nation, you'll have a letter sitting here from every single school in the nation. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, and I'll be damned. My senior year, every single school in the nation, you know, was sending letters, and, you know, we had boxes and crates and stuff full of like letters and you know, like college recruiters calling and all that stuff. And it was exciting. It was really exciting.
And Coach Thomas told you trust the process before people were using that term. He said trust the process.
Yeah.
Lo and behold.
Yep.
That's a lot of letters up. Y'all have crates and crates in his office. Yep. That is a lot of and then stuff probably went to your house too, of course. Yep. Probably even to your uncle or grandma's house. I mean, they find you. And this was before we had Google and the internet.
Right.
Trust me.
Man. And before we continue, for everyone watching, thank you very much. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that like, and then share the stream right now. Let's continue to have more people to tune in, show love to Mr. Loren Woods, what he's done for the Lou and beyond. This is all about him. So take time out right now, hit that like, and share this stream with your people so he can get even more love, because it's all about him. So
Mr. L-Dub himself,
right?
Ladies man, by the time he got to college,
Mr. You just gave me another nickname, Bunny. I appreciate that.
All right, so
okay. You're welcome.
Hey, it just flows so naturally, Bunny. You know what I'm saying?
I know it did. I was like,
so with you having so many letters, how was that process to decipher? Okay, I'm gonna look at this one, or I'm gonna read everything. How was that process for you that made you go ahead and say, you know what, after it's all said and done, I'm gonna choose Wake Forest?
It's it's a great question, and I think that nowadays, or even back then, the process gets too complicated. And we were very fortunate, Chris and myself and Jahidi also, and I'm sure Julian and Smokey the same, very fortunate to have, Coach Preston Thomas make us develop a system. I remember him telling us that, listen, you're going to have tons and tons and tons of schools calling and wanting to be, get in contact with you and visit and stuff like that. Narrow it down from the beginning. Take a month, take 6 weeks, take 2 weeks, however long it takes. Narrow it down. Choose 40 schools or 30 schools or whatever. That'll be the list, and then we'll narrow it down from there. And that's pretty much what we did. I mean, it was very simple. And I remember sitting scribbling stuff in physics class, just like, okay, I like UCLA, I like USC. Oh, UConn, I saw them on TV. Okay, I like them too. Michigan, oh, I love Michigan, Fab Five. Oh, UNLV for sure. So it was like that at first,
right?
Just naming all the schools that we knew, and then it was kind of like, all right, well, let's look some stuff up. Okay, where do I want to live? Maybe. Well, Florida sounds nice. Okay, Florida State. Let me see. Do I want to live in Seattle or in the Northwest? Nah, I don't want to go there. So I guess Washington and Oregon's off my list. So it was kind of like that, pretty much. Like that's how our situation. Where would I like to visit? Hawaii? Ooh, let's put Hawaii on the list. So it was very, he made the process very simple in the beginning. It didn't get really hard until it got down to the time where, we're making our decision, because every so often or every month from the beginning of our summer of our senior year, we had to, shave off 5. Okay, take another 5 away. Okay, take another 5 away. Okay, now narrow it down to your top 10. Okay, now narrow it down to your top 5. Those are the 5 schools you're going to visit. That's simple. Yeah.
You said simple, but those decisions don't sound like going from 20 to 30 schools to 5.
You know what, Bunny? And I'm glad you brought this point up. This is a great point, and I want everybody, I know it's a ton of people listening that have kids that maybe will go through the same process. And I tell all my parents that have kids that are, like highly recruited or highly touted or whatever about this process. It's not, people always make a big deal out of it. And they were back when we were coming out. And they still do to this day. Oh, choosing a college is going to be the biggest decision you ever make in your life. It's not true. Okay? Choosing your wife or your husband is the biggest decision that you ever make in your life. Deciding if you're going to start a business is like one of the biggest decisions you ever make in your life. If you're one of your family members on a respirator and you got to decide, are they going to live or are they going to die, is one of the biggest decisions you make in your life. College is fun. Every college in the United States is, for the most part, is going to be fun. Unless you're like a super smart kid, then obviously you're probably not going to go to Arizona State or Ohio State. You're probably going to go to Harvard or Princeton. Still a pretty simple process, right? Like I always try to tell the parents, keep the process simple. Like, is your kid smart or is your kid kind of dumb? Okay, if your kid's kind of dumb, you probably don't want them to go to the school that's going to require them to have a 12.
They smart or dumb, that's it.
But think about it. Like, it's not a huge decision at that point. It's like, does your kid like hot weather or cold weather? They don't like cold weather. Okay, you probably don't want to send them somewhere cold. Tell them to choose somewhere hot. Start like that, and then just, it's a fun time. And college is fun. I went to 2 different colleges. I went to Wake Forest, which was supposedly the biggest decision of my life. I was very unsuccessful there. I transferred to Arizona, which was supposed to be a bigger school, a better school. And to be honest with you, some of the people at Wake Forest told me that I wasn't going to be successful going to Arizona. They said, oh, you're not good enough to go to Arizona. And Arizona was way better than Wake Forest. And I was way more successful at Arizona. So
you talking about from the academic side or the athletic side?
At the athletic side. The academic side, it was a cakewalk because, like Arizona's a party school.
No party school existed. I know nothing of the sort. Please enlighten me when we get to that chapter.
Because LU is a fine academic institution, right?
Yes, exactly.
No. Every school has classrooms that have students, people that don't get educated. And then after education hours, if you tend to want to do whatever you want, including attend a party, so be it. Every college has that. Remember that.
Yep, you're right.
Hey, you know
Look
what?
at the comments, Smooth. Look at the comments.
Hey, but you know what? I can't talk because I went to high school for 8 years. Cause my last 4 years in high school I was at Harris Stowe. So
What? Oh, don't do hairstyle like that. Don't do them. Don't do them. Don't do them. I'm not gonna hate on hairstyles. Don't do them.
and yeah, shouts out to the comments here. Danielle Pruitt, she says, you know what? You go ahead and say it how she probably gonna say it, Bunny.
No, I'm gonna let me hear you try to say it first. That's my line, so let me hear you.
No. I'm gonna just say hey, all right, and
Hey.
there it is.
That's how Pruitt said it. She's like, hey.
There you go. Shouts out to you, Danielle. And then she's laughing at
another Lincoln Night LU, baby.
oh yeah, the esteemed college of LU. And then
I'm trying to say, what Lincoln up party school like that? I'm gonna clean this up right now. Gotta clean it up.
And then Miss Williams.
Mizzou people had parties too. We went to Mizzou, went to some parties up there.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
I mean, I didn't know a lot. Again, I'm an educated person. I was just classroom chill. I didn't have social media back then, so
that's what they call it. Educate. I got you. And then Miss Williams says, in regards to what you said, Loren, about the process of the recruiting process, she says tough decisions, but great advice on the process.
Thank you.
Then LaShonda said, or Morehouse or Howard. So shouts out to those out there, but Morehouse or Howard. And then
shouts out to the HBCUs, and I think we're gonna start to see a trend. I hope.
Yeah.
We're gonna start to see a trend. And I wasn't able to attend the HBCU, but now with technology advancing, and if we got a couple of these All-Americans go to some of these HBCUs, the money's gonna start going in there. It's gonna take those first few to get in there to build it up a little bit, obviously. But we can build up some of these HBCUs. And I'm all for it.
It always wasn't a fair playing field once they start throwing money, taking the black talent away from the HBCUs. And the tables turn, throw their money. We can't compete because we was already institutionally all HBCUs, even the ones with $1 million endowments, are still underfunded, and we couldn't compete, let alone athletically, with the facilities and all that. They start throwing money to the recruits. It changed the game, but hopefully, like you said, you got a couple of these top recruits going to HBCUs, turn the table back into our favor, and get some more funding. I know biggest thing was advertisements and all that to help build up your athletic funds, but we shall see. But yeah, thank you for shouting out HBCUs. I always support all of them. I just want to see the best and see us flourish.
For sure.
And speaking of which, man, shouts out to Deion Sanders and what he's doing already at Jackson State. They ain't played one game, but the buzz is crazy.
Man,
he's getting.
I'm like, shoot, I want to go to Jackson State game, and they got a good homecoming too.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, he's getting recruits to flip their commitments from Georgia to his school. I mean, that's big.
On there now. They signed Jack. Man,
that's big right there.
That's one HBCU. Like you said, it will be a trend. I can see that.
It will be a trend, and I mean, it'll be easier for sports if they do the right thing, which I think that they will start doing that. You saw what Jackson State did. They hired Deion Sanders. He played for the Cowboys, a Hall of Fame football player. These HBCUs, they're going to have to spend a little bit of money, hire those people that can attract those recruits. So, you're going to have to go hire some professional athletes, maybe, or some more famous athletes to come in and coach those squads, or to be, like the mouthpieces for your squad. That's how it's going to happen. But once it does, I'm telling you, who wouldn't want to go play for Deion Sanders if you was playing football?
Right.
Deion Sanders? Like, of course, you're going to have the Cowboys' ear forever. The Atlanta Falcons forever, So.
Let's see. LaShonda Connor says, absolutely. LU has an amazing academic program. Then Danielle says, LU gave you all the resources to be successful. I enjoyed that small university experience. Jerron Sutton says, yes, sir. And then LaShonda Connor said, Bunny, go ahead and read that one for me.
Which one was that? that one?
The most recent one from LaShonda.
Wait. After the yes, sir?
Yeah.
That's exactly how I said it. Exactly.
There we go.
Shawty, no. I'm telling y'all, Lincoln is a small school, and for many of us from St. Louis, you heard the rumors, story, party school, and all that.
Ain't no rumors.
Family, any HBCU you go to, family, the homecomings are big because it's a big family reunion. And you're talking about decades, people aren't at school at the same time, and you still come together, have a good time, and reconnecting with people. I'd say if you talking about the decision making, picking a college, it wasn't on my decision list to go there, but I do not regret it at all. And lifetime friendship memories, like I said, academics as well, of course, but it's one of the things. Once you make the decision, like you said, with a recruit, they pick a school, you make the best of it. You went to 2 of them, and still you saw Wake Forest is one, Arizona is another, but still you didn't regret your decision transferring to Arizona and lifetime of what you could talk about your athletics there, the school campus, all of that. So again, anybody that's choosing to go to college, make a decision. And like he said, there are much bigger ones after that.
And with that being said, Loren, why Wake Forest?
Well, it was it was one of those things where it was more of a business decision than it was an emotional or an intuitive decision. The program was in the ACC, which at that time was by far the best basketball conference in the country. They had already had a lot of recognition and success from players such as Randolph Childress and Tim Duncan, and they had some good up and coming players and stuff like that were coming into the program. So it just made sense at that time. But I mean, to be honest with you, where I wanted to go was Temple.
Really?
High school. It just didn't carry the same weight as playing in the ACC did at that time, because my goal since I was 13 years old was to play in the NBA.
Okay.
You play in the ACC, you play well in the ACC, you go to the NBA. Period. That's how it was back then. So that was my my focus and my goal. So going to Wake Forest was like, all right, Tim Duncan is there. He's a junior at that time. Everybody thought he was gonna leave and go turn pro or whatever. And then I would have came in and it would have pretty much been my spot from the beginning. He ultimately ended up staying, which still helped me also because I got a chance to learn from him for a year and played on the same team as him for a year, and that helped me tremendously. But it was a business decision to go to Wake Forest, and do I regret it? No, absolutely not. I think it was especially my freshman year, one of the most as far as development is concerned, one of the biggest basketball years of my life as far as development.
So
don't tell me one of your decision-making reasons to leave Wake Forest and go to Arizona is because of the ladies either. Please don't tell me that.
Party school.
You talking about here I am, ladies again. Don't tell me that's one of the reasons. Please. Don't tell me the parties was not popping with the ladies at Wake Forest. Let me take my talents to Arizona and really see what's going on. Don't tell me. Don't laugh too hard. Come on, you laughing too hard.
Not at all. Not at all. The decision to transfer to Arizona, which was, that was more of an emotional decision. I wasn't happy at Wake Forest. It wasn't the style of play that I think was that best fit me at that time. Arizona, I felt was, and the Pac-10, I felt at that time was. It was more of a, like a high octane, fast paced game out there. A lot of the teams running and gunning, and UCLA, USC, Arizona State, Oregon was good back then. Stanford was a great team back then. All these teams, Cal Berkeley, could run, could get up and down the floor, and that's what my natural game was. So that was the reason that I chose to go to Arizona. Plus, I had family out here. You know, I came out on a visit. You know, it's a great segue into this story. I come out on a visit. I leave St. Louis. I was in St. Louis. It was spring break. I left St. Louis. It was sleet rain, about, I don't know, 30 degrees, 30, 31.
I like today.
That sounds about like St. Louis in February, right? So I get on the flight to go on my visit to Arizona, land in Tucson. It's 75 degrees. You know, we walking on campus. You know, it's girls with swimsuits on the quad, like sunbathing.
Don't tell me it was the ladies. You already throwing the ladies in there.
It wasn't, but I mean, 75 in February. You know, I was like, this is kind of the life. I feel like I belong here. This is
Look, it was the bikinis that saw them. Just tell us. It was the bikinis right there.
But I forgot. They got a good basketball program too. That's what I meant.
Okay, that's it. Right.
They play good basketball out there.
Was you on the squad? Was Mike Bibby and his who else was on that? They just won the state championship when you transferred?
Miles Simon, the national
That's
champion.
it, Simon. That's the other one.
Miles Simon, Michael
Yeah.
Jason Terry. They were not on the team. I actually played with. They were there the year before me. They all left the year I got there. Gilbert Arenas, Richard Jefferson, Luke Walton, Jason Gardner, Michael Wright.
Wow, it was thick. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about playing, because you know back then they weren't the, you know, those household names or, you know, names that you really knew about during that time if you wasn't, you know, from Arizona at that moment. But how was it playing with Gilbert and Richard Jefferson? Because I know Richard Jefferson, my God, he has some bunnies on him. No pun intended, bunny. I'm talking about hops. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude had the springs, and then you had Luke Walton as well and others. So just tell us about that experience playing with those guys.
Wow, it was something that, you know, again, as far as like my basketball development, I actually developed so much more just in that year playing with those guys, because again, in my opinion, they were so good. You know, like we stepped out on the floor and, you know, like Richard Jefferson, you know, he got like a 40-inch vertical.
Right.
You know, he was an amazing lockdown defender, you know, 94 feet. And then, you know, you got Gilbert Arenas, who came in, you know, he came in as like an unrecruited, you know, basketball player. I think he wasn't highly recruited. He was maybe a 1 or 2 star athlete at that time. You know, I think he had got an offer from Kansas State and Arizona, which was the oddest thing because, you know, he's from Southern California, and, you know, USC, UCLA, you know, all the California schools should have been on him, Pepperdine, you know, like every school in that area. But, you know, none of them recruited him. And he kind of came in, he was younger. And when I saw him pick up the ball and play, you know, that first pickup game, it was like, whoa, you know, like this kid's going to the pros. You know, he's an amazing player. You know, Michael Wright was an All-American coming out of high school. Jason Gardner was McDonald's All-American coming out of high school. Luke Walton, I mean, he's related to Bill Walton, so you know he can play. And, you know, it's just, it was something that I was like, okay, if I'm gonna play here, if I'm gonna fit in here, I got to take my game to another level. And I was able to do that. So we had some, it was an epic time, you know, great team and two of the best years of my life.
Right.
And tell us about playing under the great Lute Olson.
Yep, Lute Olson.
Yeah, you know, Hall of Fame coach, great guy, one of the best communicators when it came to the X's and O's of the game. And you know, I always prided myself on you know, having a very high basketball IQ. And, you know, I went to Arizona and I realized I didn't know anything at all about basketball. And, you know, being able to be in, you know, film sessions with a Lute Olson or hear him break something down was like, you know, it was one of the highlights of my career, because that's when I really learned how to break down game film, you know, offensively and defensively, player positions, player tendencies, strengths and weaknesses. You know, using you know, maybe one game plan doesn't work in this situation, and it might work in this situation. Maybe you have to change things up in the middle of the game. You know, he was one of the best coaches that I ever had that made adjustments on the fly. You know, it's like if something didn't work, he didn't stick with it long. You know, it wasn't like we were going to go down 20 before he was like, okay, we need to change something. You know, he saw it once or twice and was like, that doesn't look right. We're changing this up. And, you know, to be able to learn from him was, you know, was probably one of the best things to ever happen to me.
And we know that within this year that John Thompson, senior, passed away. And then I believe was it last year or 2 years ago that Lute Olson passed away?
That was this year.
This year. Wow. So 2 legendary coaches in the same year. Man, 2020 has been something else, hasn't it?
The worst.
My
Absolutely.
God. My
Unbelievable.
God.
We're on that curve to 2021, y'all. Just hang in there. Hang in there.
I'm telling you,
Just hang in there.
As soon as January 1st hits, everything is going to be okay.
Man, let's continue to pray that we're gonna make it there.
4 days.
Man,
it's gonna magically. Okay, this is what it's all about. January 1st, we back to a new normal. Okay.
Exactly.
Hopefully so. So we discussed the recruiting time for you. How was it in regards to the draft process?
Yeah, it was, you know, another one of those things that was, we kept it pretty simple. And that's a simple process anyway. I mean, that's the NBA. They're the most organized league in the world when it comes to everything. You know? And
they so woke, it's not even funny.
Their process. Yeah, I mean, and their progressions and the process, the way they do things, the way they analyze things is just on a whole nother level. So even before the draft process, they had everything that they, you know, needed on you, on every person that's about to get drafted. I mean, we're talking about investing millions of dollars into one person every single year. Like, they're gonna do their research. So, you know, it was just basically coming down to individual workouts and traveling around. And I remember it being a very tiring process because, you know, I might fly to one city, you know, Vancouver, and do a workout and be there 2 days, and then have to fly to Seattle and do a workout, and then, you know, fly straight from Seattle to Dallas and do a workout, and then fly to Los Angeles and do a workout, and then fly to Chicago. So, you know, I remember the process was a grueling process, but, you know, not one that I would ever change. That was the time where I knew I was about to make it. I was like, I'll do this all day.
It's worth the sacrifice. It's worth all that traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Well, since you're being so tall, you always in first class when you were traveling?
Not back then.
Really? So you was crying. I guess seats had a little bit more room back then, but still, it's kind of tight.
If you can get it, we you know, like Arizona back at that time, we didn't travel charter that often. We did sometimes, but not that often. So we were flying out of the regular airports, flying Southwest. We'd go play, you know, UCLA and USC, and we'd be on Southwest flight, you know, 977. You know,
okay.
1:44 p.m. with everybody. Yeah,
then in line, so you in that Group A, Group B, Group C.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh man, okay.
And tell everybody, when did you get drafted? What spot?
I got picked by Minnesota with the 46th pick in the second round, and you know, it's kind of like a bittersweet thing because I finally made it. You know, in my mind, like all the years that I've been working, you know, to get drafted and to be in the NBA, the day finally came. I didn't think that I was going to be drafted so low. I thought I was much better than where I was taken, but you know, at the same time, you have to get rid of all those negative thoughts so fast, which is one thing that I learned in the NBA, because you're going to play so many games, have so many practices, have so many different people shoving microphones in your face and doing all these things or whatever, that any bad thing that happens or your perception of a bad thing, you got to forget about it, you know, and that's kind of what happened. You know, I got drafted. It was like second round. I was upset, whatever, you know, I shouldn't have been here, whatever. The next week I had to play Summer League, and I was on a non-guaranteed contract. So, you know, I could have played bad in Summer League and they could be like, well, you know, that's it. You're done.
Right.
You know, and I got so focused and so, I had this hyper focus that it was like I was going to prove everybody that I belong. And I played so well in summer league that the team offered me a guaranteed contract for my rookie year. And I don't think anybody else, and now it's happening more often. A lot of these second round picks are getting these, guaranteed contracts 2 or 3 years. Back then, it never happened. They didn't care. It was like, well, you got to earn your spot. And they offered me a guaranteed spot, right after summer league. So, it was like I said, it was bittersweet. I still had a lot to prove, but I was like, all right, at least that one hurdle was over.
So with that Timberwolves squad, was that the same one KG was on? He was on there?
Oh, yeah.
Chicago high school? Okay.
Yeah. Kevin Garnett was on there. Joe Smith that played at Maryland was on that team. Anthony Peeler from Mizzou.
Yeah.
He got nothing there? Okay.
Yeah, he was on that team. Felipe Lopez, if anybody remembers him, a high school phenom when he was coming out that went to St. John's. Was on that team. Wally Zerbiak. Gary Trent, his son actually now is playing in the NBA. Which is, I'm dating myself because it's like, Jesus, like I played with his dad. It's crazy. And it's the same kind of thing for Jason Tatum. I played against his dad in high school, and I remember hearing about him. And he actually went to Duke, where Chris Carrawell coaches. And it's like, man, Justin Tatum's son is playing in college. Like, are we that old?
Right.
And, yeah, we are.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Before we continue with the pros, Jahadi Wright was saying that I know that he was saying that he was close to going to SLU. Were you close going to SLU as well with him, or after him, or was that even an option?
SLU didn't really recruit me.
Wow.
And I remember they were really high on Chris. They were really recruiting him coming out of high school. They didn't recruit me as much. So for me, SLU was really never on my radar because I never really heard about it. And Mizzou, my dad went to Mizzou back when Norm Stewart played, and he had a very, very bad experience at Mizzou. So all my life I heard, you better not ever go to Mizzou.
Wow.
So they kind of weren't on my radar either. Now granted, if Mizzou would have came to my crib and dropped off $100,000 like I heard that they might be doing, it might have changed my mind. I don't know. I'm just saying that didn't happen to me. So
100, he said.
Whatever they giving these kids like a 50 or 100 grand now to go to school for 1 year. I was like, I'd have entertained any school. I'd have been playing in North Dakota State for $100,000.
He said he'd have been at University of Maine for all he cared.
It's crazy. So like those schools weren't really on my radar. SLU didn't recruit me, and my dad, would have never talked to me about it going to Mizzou. So it was pretty much everything outside of those two schools was fair game.
So what would you say was the biggest adjustment from high school to college ball, then from college ball to playing in the pros?
The speed. The speed for it is probably the biggest adjustment. It was the biggest adjustment for me. I was always very in tune to X's and O's. So my basketball IQ, I always, was always pretty high, and I learned fairly quickly. So I never had a problem remembering or learning plays, understanding situations, and things of that nature. But the speed of the game it's just so much faster, and it makes sense. You go to high school, you might be on a team with 12 guys, and like on my team, it was me. It was different. Me, Chris, and Jahidi, we all actually end up playing in college, but most high school teams don't have anybody that play in college. So, like that kind of athlete didn't even exist mostly throughout high school. Then you go to college, and college is all of the states, everybody in the country's best high school players. So, it's a little bit faster. The athletes were a little bit better. You go to the pros, that's just like top level. Your skill level is either so high or your athleticism is so high in the pros. So, it's just, the speed and the skill and just being able to play that fast. You have to think faster. You have to react faster. You have to understand faster. And to me, that was the biggest adjustment.
Well, let me ask you this. Maybe it'd be a two-part question. So from your Cardinal Ritter days to Wake/Arizona days, did that prepare you enough to adjust to the speed for the NBA compared to KG? Because KG came straight from high school and y'all both on the same squad. So was it night and day, or y'all still figured it out real quickly?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I figured it out real quick. I'm sure he had everybody has a difficult adjustment coming into the NBA. You know, now it's a little bit different because the players are so young that a rookie might be playing against a veteran that's been in the league for 5 years, but he's 22. You know, when I came into the league, like the veteran player, you know, like I played against the Hall of Fame players. You know, like I played against Shaq, I played against Dikembe Mutombo, I played against Alonzo Mourning, I played against Jordan. You know, I played against Allen Iverson. I played, you know, Reggie Miller. All these guys who were like Karl Malone, John Stockton. All of these guys were like in their mid-30s when I came into the league. You know, so, and these were like Hall of Fame guys. So, you know, it was different. It was a different time. I'm sure when KG came out of high school, like he didn't have that college adjustment. I had that college adjustment, and it was still tough for me to go to the NBA. So, you know, it clicked pretty quick for me. You know, I had the athleticism, I had the talent, I had the IQ. So, you know, it was just about learning, you know, like the little nuances of the NBA.
Okay.
So you brought up Jordan. Tell us, what was your thought process when you realized you were on the same court playing professional basketball with the likes of Jordan?
This is the crazy part, and that's a great question. I actually get that question, you know, a lot. I wasn't starstruck with Jordan.
Okay.
And I don't get starstruck easy anyway, but I wasn't starstruck with Jordan. And you know, I can say that, you know, like my record against Jordan is 2-0. I mean, I can say that. I don't know how many players can actually say that, you know, but that's what. Because you remember, Jahidi was on his team. I'm sure he's still listening, you know, and they caught 2 L's from the Timberwolves that year. You know, like,
you make sure he won't forget that, huh?
2 L's, and just took him back to DC, you know, like wherever they stayed.
He said, look at the first letter of my name. That's what y'all get anytime y'all play us. I see you, L Dub.
You know,
I see.
But you know, again, it wasn't a situation where, you know, there was no disrespect whatsoever. You know, I mean, you respected MJ. You know, he was there. He's the GOAT. You know, he's the greatest of all time. And
okay. I like that statement because, you know, it's back and forth with that statement.
It shouldn't be.
LeBron.
It shouldn't be, but you know, like
that's what I say. But who am I, right?
You know, to me, he's the greatest of all time. But you know, I was starstruck with David Robinson when we played.
Okay.
He was my idol growing up. You know, like I did everything like David Robinson. I played similar to him. I watched him play. I tried to mimic the things. You know, he was fast. He could jump. You know, he was very athletic. And, you know, like that's who I kind of tried to pattern my game after. And so when we played them, you know, it was San Antonio, and, you know, he stepped out on the floor. I was like, oh, this is David. What about asking for his autograph after the game?
That's the one time you actually got starstruck? That's the one time?
Because you're like, boy, snap out of it. Boy, we got to win this game. You know,
you got starstruck, yeah.
You know, I snapped out of it pretty quickly, but he was like the only person that I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm on the same floor as David Robinson.
That's big. That's deep.
Man.
Hey, I know back then they weren't trading jerseys like they do now, but would that be one of those moments you would want to trade a jersey with
100%. 100%. Because you would have been like, boy, not now, after the game. I got the Spurs.
I'm out of there, boy. I get ready for this game. Hey, now can we segue to my topic from hour ago as far as NBA and it's Christmas time, giving gifts? What we doing?
I'm happy that you.
You know what I'm gonna forget.
What you got?
Okay, so you said, I don't know who it was. You said a Range Rover. Who was that? In the comment that mentioned the Range Rover. Johnny. All right. You said, hey, you wanted to thank you. Range Rover gift, and he's like, that's normal. And I'm like, wait, what is the NBA players? I know everybody does not make the max and multi-million, but even with the league minimum, it's good money. But are y'all really, again, from what I've heard in past interviews, let's say the locker room, are people doing side bet gambling? Are people going to a restaurant not paying even though y'all millionaires, or they are? Are they going to a dealership the same day they get there, they leaving with 5 cars that are each $100,000? Like, Is this truly a quote-unquote an average NBA player's lifestyle?
That's truly a lifestyle. The average NBA player, I would say no.
Okay.
A lifestyle, yes, because you know, and most of it is, and I know this, you know, I can speak from experience. I was just around guys who had so much money, and you know, like me being a young impressionable player, I was like, I wanted to do what they did. I want to do it like they did. So they carrying Louis Vuitton duffel bags. I want to carry Louis Vuitton duffel bag. You know what I mean? They got Gucci belts, $500 Gucci belt. I want a $500 Gucci belt. You know, so you know it was that kind of thing. But you know the gifts, it just depends. You know, I've seen guys get, you know, Rolex, or you know, like guys get, you know, a car, like, oh, you know, he you know, that's my guy, I'm gonna take care of him. I heard, I wasn't with the Lakers ever, but you know, I heard Shaq gave Mark Madsen like a car, you know, because he liked it. You know, he came to practice one day, had a brand new car, and you know, because you my guy, because you took, you know, you carried my bag for me the whole year, so boom, you know, here's the car. So you know, now, and you hear stuff like that all the time, and you know, with the dinners, fancy dinners and stuff like that. That happens all the time. Now, I'll tell you, some veterans are dirty. I never had this happen to me, but I know it happened to one guy. The veterans ask him to dinner, so they take him to like this expensive steakhouse, you know, ordering everything, all the steaks and the shrimp and you know the prawn, not the little bitty shrimp, hey buddy, not the ones like that.
That's real big stuff.
Big one, you see the hands on them.
That's how you know you eat good shrimp. He said he need the hands on them.
Right. Tell us, don't eat me.
Yep. and ordered the food and everything, and then gave a bill to the rookie. Like, here you go.
Oh, wait, is that like a hazing or welcome to the NBA type thing?
Yeah, like
I'm hazing you real quickly. Pay up and shut up.
It was so much hazing that went on, you know, and all in good fun, you know. Like, I never had veterans that did anything crazy to me. They always took care of me, you know, always. I never had any issues. Now, I did have to carry some bags, and I definitely had to, like, you know, we landed in Utah, and KG used to have this, like, special soap that he loved to use. You know, we landed in Salt Lake City at, like, 1:30 in the morning, and he's sending me out to go find this. Hey, man, you got to go get this soap for me, man. You know, like, I'm like, by when? You know, tomorrow morning. You're like, no, now, because, you know, when I get up and in the morning, I like to take a shower. You know, stuff like that. You know, and
if you happen to say no when you was a rookie, if you say no, is that going to affect your minutes, or that's going to be like everybody shun you, don't say nothing to you?
It's more like that, because it's more of like a brotherhood. So, you know, if you don't, you usually, you don't say no. Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
Usually you don't.
So he's sticking to it. I got you.
Yeah. And it's you know, it's things that you have to do, obviously, for the initiation and you know, to be, you know, to kind of pay your dues.
Okay.
Stuff like, you know, again, you know, KG, you know, he's like a brother to me. And I haven't even talked to him in maybe like 8 to 10 years, but I guarantee you if I saw him, you know, it'd be like all dap hugs and love and everything. Right?
He seemed real down to earth. Just
real cool dude. And I remember one time, you know, again, he sent me on all these errands. I mean, they be ridiculous errands. You got to go to this one place and get this one specific thing that I absolutely need. And like, he'd get it and lose it and wouldn't even use it, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
But you know, I remember he sent me to this clothing store, and these were specific directions. He had specific directions for everything. Go to this clothing store. I want you to get, you know, like 5 jackets, you know, 20 throwback. Remember the throwback jerseys?
Yeah.
You know, 20 throwback jerseys. If they got the jeans in this size, I want like 10 pair of those. You know, the shoes, I want, you know, 10 pair of these shoes, whatever, right? You know, here's my card. Go do it. I'm like, all right, KG, cool. So I go to the store, you know, I go in there and I'm in there for about 3 hours. You know, I'm getting everything. This, you know, I want that, I need that, all that right there. You know, they boxing all this stuff up. I'm talking about like, you know, the huge UPS boxes where you got, you know, that would look like a tree come in. You know, 5 of those. Like 5 of those boxes, no lie. And so we bring it back. I bring it back to the hotel. We were on the road in Philadelphia. I'll never forget this. We're on the road in Philadelphia. I bring the boxes, like these 5 huge boxes, back to his hotel room. He opens the door, you know, and so like we got the people bringing them in or whatever. He opens these boxes up. He picks out like, I want to say maybe 10 things Now, mind you, I got about like 50 or 60 things. He picked out like 10. Oh, I like this. Ooh, I like that. Oh, those shoes. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I'm gonna take these jeans, whatever. He said, okay, young fella, all the rest of that, that's for you. Because me and him were the same size.
Wow.
I was about to ask y'all that, and because you all are tall, yeah.
We're the same size and everything. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
Like maybe 10 grand worth of stuff.
That's what's up.
Wow.
A jacket, a couple of jerseys, a couple of pair of jeans, a couple of pair of shoes. And I was like, young fella, this for you. I appreciate
That's nice of him. Okay.
So
y'all had to go to exclusive stores though, because y'all were so tall. Big and tall weren't that popular back then. Y'all, everything, it's not customized for y'all. So
yeah, we were like 4 big and tall. It was in like LA, Philadelphia, Miami, New York. And we went to
only certain cities you could go to them for. Okay.
Man, that's crazy. So that's the nice side about KG. But let's talk about between the lines. How intense was this guy from your point of view?
The most intense. I've never even seen a player that intense ever. And this isn't in the game. Like people would see KG in the game and maybe think like, oh man, like this guy's an asshole. Like he is what. No, he's a great guy, but he was like that in practice.
Competitive like that in real
practices where I left practice like, man, he is an asshole. Oh, he do that to. You know what I mean? And it's all love. That was just the kind of competitor he was.
Yes.
Like he just losing was not an option ever for him.
Let me tell you the things I noticed about KG on the court. Playing basketball, the whistle's blown. Let's just say somebody got fouled on the play. And every time the whistle's blown, he gets the ball and does a layup. Whether or not it's his team or opponent's team, he always, and I'm like, the play is dead, but why do you do that? That's like one of his trademarks, because he's one of my favorite players. And I always paid attention to him. I'm like, why do you do that? But I was told, asking basketball people, that there's some things some players do, and that's not from NBA. That's from when they was AAU, high school. Certain things they do, no matter how big and how successful they are. And that's one of the crazy things I thought. I'm like, the play is dead. Why try to shoot a layup still? Doesn't count. But he always did that. I thought that was weird, but I guess that was his little thing.
Did you have the opportunity to face off against Kobe Bryant?
Yeah. And rest in peace. Kobe, we were in the same McDonald's All-American game in high school. So, I've been playing against Kobe since I want to say we were like juniors in high school. And, it was one of those tragic things, again, 2020, right? Like, it's just, this is the worst. But, you talk about the Mamba mentality, and we were talking about that and joking about that in the beginning. That was the essence of who he was, and this was something that was like you could see that in him in high school. He was just on a different level than everybody else, and I'm talking about other All-Americans. We're talking about the top 20 best players in the nation, and you would see him and the way he acted, the way he carried himself, the way he played. The way he spoke, it was on a different level, and so you just kind of knew, like this he's gonna be all right. Okay.
That's what's up. So
let me ask you this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You first, ladies first. LU.
You go. So once you got to the league, you finished your first season. In the off season, did you work with a specific trainer that you chose, or did your coaches tell you? And did you ever come back to St. Louis in your off seasons to train here?
Let me see. After my rookie year, I think I was in Phoenix, so I was training in Phoenix and in Minnesota, like back and forth.
Okay.
And I was just with the team. And for me, I really didn't settle on a trainer that was specific until I moved to Florida. So that would have been after the year that I played in Miami, which was 2003. That was the first time that I had a specific trainer that I stayed with for the majority of my professional career.
Okay.
But tons of guys have trainers. They have like specific people that they only work with. And they have places that they go. They have their homes in those places where they go to and stuff like that. Earlier on in my career, I didn't have that as much. I developed that kind of as I got older because I realized I needed that.
Okay, I got you.
So you traveled around in the NBA, went to a variety of different teams. How would you overall rate your time in the NBA?
A dream come true. I mean, so, if I got to put it on a scale, a 10 out of 10, when it comes to the I mean, I made it, which was, my dream. It was my childhood dream. And I wasn't as fortunate to have the type of career as I wanted for myself, and probably what a lot of people who were close to me thought that I would have, as far as the success and being able to, maybe, and I played 6 years, and anytime I tell this story, the people that I'm talking to are usually like, but you effing played in the NBA. I mean, it ain't like you almost made it and you went to a training camp and got cut. You had 6 years, in the NBA and stuff like that. So, telling a story kind of sounds like it's like, cry me a river with the smallest violin ever, play it for me. But, I still wanted a better career, something that would be more memorable. And, but I mean, I was very, very fortunate, especially with my attitude that I had, back in my early 20s. I was very fortunate to even play 1 year, let alone 6. So, I have no regrets, and I feel like, to be able to accomplish one of my childhood dreams, which is something that, 99% of the people in the world can't say that they did, and I say I did, and I can say I did it.
Now, besides eating a slice of that humble pie, because like I said, you're in the league, you're around all these superstars and all these Hall of Famers, the good old I made it / I'm here, did that ego go bigger? I mean, whether or not you said you probably want to do more, but you're still an NBA player. So
right.
The ego get bigger?
Of course.
I'm that got bigger than high school and college.
Hey, ladies.
I can't include the ladies, but we can too if you want.
Hey, ladies.
I ain't gonna let that. That's why I was laughing earlier. I'm like, this is for you. Anytime I do this, it's for you.
Yeah. It was. I think it was more humbling for me than anything else, because like I wasn't doing the things that I knew I was capable of doing, and then I think that like in turn was kind of messing with my confidence and my mentality and stuff like that. So I can't say that my ego was as big as it was in college, on an overall scale. But I can say I did. I can't say at that time I was walking around like, I mean, I am in the NBA, so
You pretty much what I want. You can get what I do,
but again, taking it back all the way to when you asked me about the trophies and the accolades and everything. For me, it was never about the letters. For me, it was always about the games and the playing, and the personal fulfillment and the personal satisfaction of knowing that I'm doing my craft very, very well. And I know when I was in the NBA, that wasn't what it was. So that kind of brought me back down, like you said, eating that slice of humble pie.
Okay.
That's what's up. So let's talk about, because we know that you had to leave pretty soon. So let's talk about after NBA. I know you said that you went overseas for a few years. You said that pretty much helped develop you into a whole different level. Can you further elaborate on that?
Yeah, 100%. And it's a great topic, because I want a lot of people to understand that it does take time for people to grow and develop. And I know that we're very hard on our professional athletes in the States. In the United States, we're hard on our professional athletes. We see a 22 or a 23-year-old out there not doing what they're getting paid to do, and we're hard on them. Oh, he's a bum. Oh, he's making too much money. Oh, he this and he that. And this is something that people got to understand. It takes time, and it takes a lot of experiences for somebody to grow into the person that they ultimately are supposed to become. And for me, it took me actually getting my butt handed to me in the NBA getting, not getting time. I mean, Sacramento wasn't even a good team. It wasn't like I got cut by the Lakers. They were just one.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? I got cut by Sacramento. I mean, they're still not good. But
they had a couple years when Steve Webb was at his prime. That was
yeah. They were good then when they did that. That wasn't the team I got cut from.
I got you.
Yeah. So like for me, it was a situation of, what are you gonna do now? Because that was like my first huge hurdle that I had to get over. That was the first time that I had faced that kind of adversity in my professional career.
Mm-hmm.
So, because for so many years in the NBA, I was getting jobs because of my height and my skill level.
Right.
But it had nothing to do with like the way I had performed, and it had nothing to do with like, like my mental and personal, emotional stability. It was all, oh, he's tall, he can dribble and pass and shoot. Okay, cool. Like we'll sign him. Hopefully he'll be something. But when I got cut, I didn't have that anymore. So I had to recreate that again. So being able to go overseas and play in Europe and play in the Middle East and play in these places where, yes, I was the best player, or yes, I was like one of the most talented players, and I did have this NBA resume, but I still had to go out there and prove it because everybody was gunning for me every single night.
Sure.
Even my teammates, they were like, okay, yeah, well, like some of my teammates wanted me to fail. And that's just the way it is because of the tag that I had, being in the NBA. So, and then being able to travel the world and being able to see things that no way I would have been able to see or even thought about doing if I didn't travel and play in Europe. There's no way I would have thought about going to Athens or going to Berlin or, going to Dubai or, going to Paris and shop on the Champs-Élysées or something like that when I was in the NBA. Because to me, the NBA in the United States was it. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't playing in the NBA, that means you're not good. And then when I went overseas, I'm like, oh, okay. There's some dudes over here that should be playing in the NBA.
Ball, exactly.
Ball out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like that was, for me, that was like my growth and maturity kind of came in that time span. Those 10 years that I spent overseas is where I actually grew to be the person that I was supposed to become.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about, because we can't leave this conversation or interview, which has been another incredible interview. So thank you once again, Loren Woods, for your time. Let's talk about that brand that's on your cap right now. Tell everybody about that real quick.
On the chest too.
Well, it's called IMGLOO, and basically we're a basketball agency that I co-founded and created, and I'm the CEO now. That we pretty much help all athletes that are basketball players now in the future sports, help them get exposure in international markets.
Okay.
So, but what we do is, it doesn't matter to us if you played at, a Division III lower level school, or if you played D1. Like you still have this platform and this opportunity to put yourself out there, put your bio on, put everything on, and use it to promote yourself. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that I created it was because of all of the shadiness in the industry. And we don't see a lot of it in the States, because in the States, it's, like our things are governed pretty tight. Mm-hmm. Like not just anybody's going to be able to sign a contract in the NBA by themselves. You're going to have a lawyer or an attorney. Mm-hmm. Everything is, but like, playing overseas, I got to see a lot of dirty stuff happen to players overseas, agents stealing their money, guys lying to them about contracts that they don't have, all these things. Nobody's looking out for a lot of the players overseas. And I even have, I just did a deal the other day, and he's a veteran player that I have, a really good athlete. And there was a lot of things in the contract that were very fuzzy and very uncertain. Mm-hmm. And I said, look, man, like who's been doing this stuff for you? He's like, oh, well, I've just been kind of doing it myself. I was like, no. So we educate, we help promote, we market, and ultimately we look out for all of these athletes, when they're able to create a profile on our site and We've been very successful so far. We just launched in April, and then we relaunched again in July. Mm-hmm. And we've been very, very successful up until this point. So y'all definitely.
Is it just basketball players, or
we're basketball players right now. Men's only right now at this point, but we're launching our women's department in the next couple of months. So if you got any guys that played at SLU or Mizzou or LU got a basketball team? Funny?
Yes, they do.
They do?
Division 2. Yes, they do.
Tell them about MGLOO. Tell them about us.
Hey, I am a walking billboard. I told you I support Black businesses. If you want me to help in marketing, just send some T-shirts or a cap. I'll rock it. I always like to represent.
Say no more.
I promise you. Just I'll wear the mess out of that. On this show, in the streets, put it in the hey. Yep. I even tell my good co-athletic director / the Shine High School's basketball coach, Suzanne Goodwin, a.k.a. Cardinal Ritter alum. I'll let her know as well. Yep. You know, but they got that pipeline. You know, they got a lot of them basketball athletes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what we're doing. And one thing that I love about it is because I can, take a passion that I have, which is basketball. I mean, anything basketball, I love it. Period. And, I developed a passion for, like the agency side and the administrative side of it because of what I saw a lot of players were going through. Mm-hmm. And it's like, guys, you don't have to go through all these things, ladies, you don't have to go through all this because you got somebody who's on your side, help educating you. I want you to be self-sufficient. I want you to not even have to call me about anything because you can look at a contract yourself and be like, no, this ain't right. I'm not doing this. I'm going to do it the right way. So and that's what we want, man. But we're having a great time doing it, and we've been successful so far, and very proud of it.
Congratulations!
Yeah, man. Congrats.
You made your own business out of something that wasn't there yet. That doesn't even happen too often now, so that's what's up.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats, man. My last question for you. Once again, this has been incredible. What is your advice for those who have those hopes and dreams of trying to make it to the NBA?
That's one. Let me just say that is a great question. And I can only give my honest advice. For 99.9% of the people out there, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen for a myriad of reasons. You don't have the skill, you don't have the size, you don't have the, there's a bunch of, you don't, right? Mm-hmm. So, just playing the numbers game, it's not going to happen. But let me tell you, tell all the people out there that the same numbers and numbers game and the same don'ts and, you're not good enough and all this, I faced the same thing. I was one of those same people that people said, you're not good enough. You're not skilled enough. You're not hungry enough. You don't have it. And then 17 years after me getting paid to play basketball, I look at them like, is there anything else that you can say? Because so you have to be able to have a target and by any means necessary, try to hit that target.
There it is. Bunny, anything you want to ask?
Man, I don't even have to ask. I just want to comment. Did a great job. Great interview. I'm telling you, just y'all see RCP men from the 90s. I'm telling y'all, like the interview in the summer, y'all had a lot of good stories, a lot of dope jewels, good information. And again, you still helping out with your business, helping out other athletes. I commend you. The future, we know, is nothing but up and bigger and better for you with this. No more questions from me. Just give you your accolades. So great job.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and this is something, like I said, I'm all things basketball, all things sports pretty much. And I want to say thank you for having me on the show. I didn't think that, honestly, before we started, I was just like, oh God, man, 2.5 hours. Like, I don't even got that much to talk about for 2.5 hours. Like, I'm hungry right now. It's cold.
Sometimes.
I swear. And when I looked up, and Fred said this, He said this to me earlier today. I said, man, look, I got about 90 minutes and then I got to roll out. He said, man, I know you say that, but then you're going to look up and it's going to be about like 2.5, 3 hours later and you talk. And I looked up like, damn, it's 8:30 already, you know, like 9:30 there. So, you know, like it was a great conversation. Anytime you ever need me to come on the show or be a special guest, definitely do that. You know, representing CRCP, representing Bashan, representing LU. Buddy, what high school you go to?
Metro.
You know, that's a St. Louis question. I don't even know why I didn't ask you that in the beginning.
I graduated from Metro.
Metro? Okay. See?
I said so humbly because
he said,
he said, they won state after I graduated.
He said,
but the girls
Metro
team, they hot.
And he said, Metro? Okay.
That's why I said it humbly, because I know he's going to be like, what? That's okay. You're educated there too. Don't worry.
Trust me, like it's all love.
It's all love.
It's all love. The St. Louis people in general that's doing their thing. You know, anything that I can do to help out, you know, let me know. St. Louis is always going to forever be my home. I don't get back as much as I probably should or used to. But I mean, you know, like, let's face it. You know, I mean, it's too cold 6 months out the year there.
Okay. I feel you on that. I'm going to throw a challenge out there to you, Jahidi, Chris, Winfield, anybody else. They got the big 3 league with Ice Cube. I'm just saying y'all can do a weekend like that. Bring out the people that was the best of the best from the 90s. Just a weekend of that basketball. I'm telling you.
And to add on,
I'm not a marketing person. I don't do promotions, but I would love to see this.
Hey.
With big 3, and there's old NBA players out there doing it. St. Louis got an issue. We can do it here too.
Hey, but look, to add on to that, the Platform Sports Talk Show has to commentate.
I like it.
We have to go ahead and market it, promote it, commentate. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this show is about, man. We want these stories to be told. So many great stories or people who hasn't had that light shine on them because the ESPNs and the Foxes and whoever aren't highlighting them because people don't really trip off them. That's what this show is about. And I think that would be an excellent idea, Bunny, to have something like that go down. And we'll be happy to make sure that happens as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll give out them t-shirts.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Hey, if you don't mind, send us some IMGLOO merchandise, man.
I got you. Shoot me. You got my IG, Bunny. You got my IG. Just shoot me a message, and we get in there. I get the address. We get it popping, man.
All right.
Much success, much love to you. Thank you.
Yes. Once again, thank you for everything you've done for St. Louis, man, and for what you're doing now.
My guy, appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you have a good one. All right, that was our special guest from Phoenix, Arizona, Chris Carrawell, and shouts out to Danielle Pruitt. She says, I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Pruitt. And Pruitt is in KC. That's my line sister.
Hey.
She is so funny, y'all. Pruitt funny, but all the way from KC. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Hey, side note. She has the prettiest black cabbage doll you will ever see. Her baby is so adorable. She should be a model. The prettiest black cabbage patch.
Shout out to my baby girl Miracle. You know, some of y'all seen my video I left yesterday. Got her a TV. Did something on the humbug. It wasn't no Christmas gift or anything. Just something I always wanted to do for her. And my guy, Richie Williams from my church, he made it happen for me on the humbug. Came through in the clutch, and she loves it. She was in her room all day. The only time she left the room was going to the bathroom or going to the kitchen. Other than that, she was in her room all day. But
you did a girl dad moment. I like that. Good job, girl dad.
Thank you. So from our special guest to someone who is a regular on our show, she is our hockey and baseball insider. Joe, what is going on with you?
Not much. Just listening to the show with Brendan. We were being nerds sort through our Pokemon cards.
Oh.
Hey. That is what's happening. Tell Brendan I said what's happening. I see y'all photos and y'all had a great time at was it a party y'all went to this past weekend?
Yeah, our niece got married.
Okay.
So that was really fun. I mean, I sat the whole time, but it was fun.
You're supposed to. I mean,
yeah.
Your feet probably swelling up.
I went to the bathroom and what song was it? I can't remember what song came on, but I was like, ooh, I started dancing while I was washing my hands.
Oh, Lord.
And then I looked down at my feet and I saw my ankles. I was like, nope, not happening. It was a Cupid shuffle. Brennan just updated me. Yeah, but it was a Cupid shuffle. I just wanted to go out there so bad, but nope.
So how is Brendan the dancer?
Brendan has fun dancing.
Okay.
He didn't do much this time because he was just sitting there with me, but he did the Cupid shuffle. But the wedding we went to earlier this year, he was getting it. He doesn't care if he looks silly or not.
So Brendan can get it, huh? He's a little dancer. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing a little song right now.
That's what's up. So, and Miss Williams says hi, Joe.
Hello, Miss Williams.
All right, so let's get right to it. We're not gonna hold you long. Hockey, it's officially back within a month. How happy are you? Any expectations going into this upcoming, who knows what is going to happen kind of season?
Yeah, I'm excited for one that, like, obviously I can sit here and enjoy some football and I can sit here and watch a little bit of basketball, but hockey, is more my neighborhood. So I'm excited to have a sport back that I know a lot about. Hopefully there's no setbacks. It sounds like it's going to be a go, but hopefully, we're not a month in and things get canceled for a little bit. But I'm excited, and I think the Blues got a really good team again this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
Quick question, Joe. So usually the NHL starts their season about 3 weeks before the NBA. But how was it the NBA got it started and going before the NHL? What was the holdup of trying to figure this out for this pandemic season?
Well, one, I mean, like I said on girls' night, just NBA just has their head on straight. I feel like, for out of all the leagues. But then also there was something with some contract issue that they had to figure out this year.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
But it's something that the NBA doesn't have to deal with because they almost are parallel, like I said, with their seasons, with I guess there's a few more players on the roster NHL compared to NBA. But I was just wondering, I'm like, this is ass backwards.
Hey, Bunny. I mean, the perfect answer is Adam Silver.
Progressive, start, innovative, whoever's his team. I know he doesn't do it all. He has a team, but they're smart, thinking progressive, and the players kind of buy in. And maybe is it with the union too? Does the NHL have to work with their player unions too to agree?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like every other sport. And then like every other sport, NBA's got a good what you would call a commissioner, and then you got people like Gary Bettman and Rob Manfred. So
yeah. So Miss Williams brought this up earlier. Let's go ahead and share some light. How awesome is it that as of today, the Negro Leagues are now considered the major leagues?
I think it's awesome. Long time coming. It probably should have happened a lot sooner. Mm-hmm. Like obviously it's always nice every time of year we get to, like the Cardinals and the Royals did this year, wear the old school Negro League jerseys and whatnot. But I mean, I think it's awesome. Like I said, it should have happened a while ago. COVID messed up so many things this year, but me and Brennan wanted to go to KC so bad this year and go see the museum, because that's one of the things on my bucket list is to go there.
Mm-hmm. And
so I think I haven't been to the Negro Hall of Fame Museum yet either. It's only 4 hours away.
It looks amazing, and then every time we play the Royals, Danny Mac talks to the guy that works there.
Yeah, he does. Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. I know the players love going there every year.
And Joe, that brings me to something that I've always wanted to mention to you that I admire and respect about you, but you've always had an appreciation for the black athlete, no matter what sport it is. What came about in regards to that?
I mean, you're good at a game, you're good at a game. It doesn't matter what you look like, where your background is. You know, that's not even for sports. That goes for everything. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just hearing you talking about how you wanted to go to the Negro, baseball Hall of Fame, and there's been a lot of previous references on, on social media that you bring up. I may tweet something and you'll like it, share it, or have a story about it. I just really think that's really cool. Just from my point of view, how much appreciation you have for the black athlete.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it shouldn't have to be about anything else, but like black athletes and white athletes and Puerto Rican, they're all the same.
Right.
If you got skill, you got skill. And then I guess like I got my nephews, they're mixed, and like and then my abuela's from Nicaragua, so just we got a lot of different different things going on with our family. So I just like supporting everything, honestly.
Another topic that's really hot right now in Major League Baseball is the owners, the league, and the players are all undecided. Well, more so the league, if they should start the season at the normal time, which would be in February, or February is spring training.
Training for the actual regular season.
Spring training, but now they're talking about pushing that back and pushing the whole season back until May, because they're hoping that the players can possibly get vaccinated, and then they can have fans as well in the seats by the time the season starts. I know, Jody, you was pretty much like, in between, but can you further elaborate on your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just in between, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like what's going to happen with the vaccine. Are players going to want to use the vaccine? You can't just force it on them. And then it's just like we mentioned on Twitter, the Cardinals are depending on fans being in the stadium.
Right.
Like they need that to happen. Especially if they want, like Mark Saxon said, the Cardinals are going to be big spenders in a year or two. Well, that's not going to happen if we're not in the seats.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm like mixed. I'm mixed with it right now. Like, obviously, I want baseball back as soon as possible, but I just have a feeling it's going to be like it was this year. Like Randall Grichuk, he tweeted it, retweeted it, saying, "Here we go again." Right. Because it's going to be the same thing.
I think that, again, who am I, right? But working with their MLB union and the league, you can do, if the union and enough players agree to do spring training at regular time in February. I mean, they did the baseball season a few months ago with the pandemic going on, but you started as a regular, had you always had a schedule, but no fans. Maybe by the summertime, it can pick up and you can see. It's just going to be one of those things. The pandemic changes these professional leagues every day, not even by the week, by the day, and sometimes by the hour. So you're trying to get to a normalcy, but if they play through a pandemic, it's only 2+ months, but still, you can do regular season, but start off with no fans and just take it day by day.
I mean, that's their best bet, is taking it day by day. Like you said, that's in a pandemic. Like, honestly, tomorrow we could wake up and something new happens.
Exactly. Right. Another mutated strain be out there, and now what the vaccine has is not going to work per se. Like how the flu is, flu strain changes year by year sometimes. So, I just, like you said, you wanted to see it back as soon as possible. I do too. These players, since the league was trying to screw them before they did the pandemic play of not paying them, but, let them earn their money, but still do it safely. Because everybody that's on the field and in the executive offices, they all have somebody, either a parent or their spouse and kids, that they want to see them alive and healthy. They don't want them to succumb to this virus. So play it smart and just don't do fans until it's enough data, enough people out there that's fine with it, that, so. But that's in my 2 cents. Who am I, right?
I agree. And it's like the players, it all comes out of them too. Like they're the product on the field. That's what we're going there to watch. So if they don't feel comfortable fans being in the stands, then I don't, how could you go forward with bringing them back? Yep.
And Ms. Williams says, I think they should delay the start until all the players and staff, as well as significant percentage of fans, can be vaccinated. And with
But
that,
you know what? Yeah, I mentioned this, and I was like, we know they have money. At least the owners do. They're going to get those players vaccinated. You said by choice, but you know, at certain jobs, if you're in the medical industry or even just a clerk at a medical office, they can require you to get the flu shot. So I could see them trying to work a negotiation with the union to require them to get their vaccine. Now, they may not all agree with it, but I could see them having access to it before the regular population. We're not
Yeah, I mean, I think
that last week.
I think we've seen that already a little bit, like certain people having access to it first. But and I guess honestly, you could see players opting out, you know, if they don't want to take a vaccine, just like they opted out this year, just because, you know, just to be on the safe side.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had nothing against it at all, but I was thinking, I'm like, in February, shoot. Well, look, while we're talking right now, the commissioner, his little people under him, already on the line at 10 o'clock at night saying, when's that next shipment going to be at their doorstep? And then when they're going to start secretly giving stuff out. After this is over, y'all, and pandemic's over, you're going to hear so many stories in the sports world of how they were doing stuff, and we don't know. I guarantee you.
And Bunny, we have a comment from Ms. Williams in regards to one of your earlier comments. She says, Bunny, that is not correct. The mutations that have been seen in the COVID virus doesn't affect the ability of the vaccine to protect against it. Then in all bold letters, this is not a flu virus once again.
Correct. It's not. I was just comparing how the flu strain is not the same year in, year out. That does change. And that's why I'm saying we don't know what happened if this coronavirus or the COVID-19 ends up mutating, go something crazy. I'm not saying it has and it will. I just threw something out there comparing we don't know. It's just still a lot of unknowns. I'm not speaking for or against vaccines. Please, let me put that disclaimer. For or against it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, people are crazy about those vaccines.
I know, that's what I'm like. I'm not for or against it. I'm just saying I can see it just seems like people with money get access to stuff faster. And I brought up last time when the NBA was doing the testing for COVID for those players before, you know, we found out Rudy Gobert and what's his name?
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell tested positive. And I was like, wait a minute. They have access to testing and we don't even have it here. And I was like, that got my attention. Like, okay, they have access to the money and they got access to testing before we did. That just blew me away. But when the NBA did do the move of stopping it, their season, was that not a trickle down effect? And all those other leagues and everything, and by that next weekend, everything stopped. Like stay at home orders, all of that. And I was like, okay, and you know it got real. Money, of course. When somebody with big money stops something, then everybody wants to fall in line.
Then she says, yes, and but this virus doesn't mutate in the same way. That's why we won't need a new vaccine every year.
Good.
There we go. See, we come up with the sports and the science at the same damn time here at the platform.
Right. That's good. Not an expert. No. Thank you for the information, Miss Williams.
Word is that the New York Mets are trying to make an aggressive move to make a trade for Nolan Arenado. When I saw that, I was like, oh, God, Cardinals, here we go.
Yeah, I just saw that today. It was Marusti talking about it. The thing that kind of threw me off about that rumor was they said that he said that they could see Cano going back to, offset that contract, but Cano's suspended this year with steroids. So I just feel like why couldn't the Cardinals make a good offer, to get rid of a contract? Because that's pretty much like at least Carpenter or Fowler will be able to play. Cano's not.
Yeah.
Quick question. So getting back to Cano, when that story first came out, I forgot to ask you this then. This is his second time getting caught. Mm-hmm. Usually, when people were doing it and they got caught, it wasn't any penalties on their salaries. Now there is, and the whole season. Why did he do it again? And he's he can't get that payment anymore, all those millions of dollars. Like, what's the purpose of doing it again? You're not making a roster. I mean, you're sitting out a year, but they're going to test you probably like every time when you come back, and you miss out on that money. Is it worth it the second time?
No, but I mean, like they're always like, well, I didn't know about it, or like they always try to pull that card. But,
did he say that? I didn't hear him say anything. I wasn't sure.
I mean, I think the first time he did, this time I think he's kind of just like, all right, I messed up. But I don't know. I don't know why people do it in the first place, but then to try to do it again. Like, I can't remember. There was a couple years ago, someone got caught like 3 or 4 times, and they eventually just banned them for baseball.
Stupido.
Yeah, that's what I said. The first time people, when they try, they want to get that payday, get that contract, and then if they fall off, oh well, they got the money. But second time, and the rules change. They hold you accountable. You can't get your payout, and you can't even play.
Yeah, so he's just gonna be sitting at home watching whatever.
Right. All right. So, last but not least, Joe, I know you have an announcement that you like to make that you left on our group chat.
Oh, yeah. This will probably be my last show for a little bit, just because next week, obviously, is Christmas, but the week after that, 29th is our inducement date. So, we'll see if she comes before then, just because yesterday, I don't know what was going on. I was feeling some cramping and stuff, but we have an appointment tomorrow, and then the 29th is our actual inducement date. So,
yeah.
between now and then, baby Mia will be here.
All right, baby Mia. Hey, your mama ready to drop you like it's hot, honey. She ready to drop you like it's hot.
Right.
I am ready to get her out. She's keeping me up. I can't sleep at night.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, even on the side, girl. And you were talking about drink for you. I remember, look, when outside was open, I only probably went to if one Christmas party, but I was just like, yeah, I'm so like ready to go.
You should have seen me at the wedding. Every time someone would get a drink, I'd be like, let me smell that. Let me smell that. Oh my gosh. Like there was a Crown Apple with Sprite. It smelled so good.
Oh, man.
I had that one. I had to try that.
And Miss Williams says congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, she also stated that she is a biochemist, so she sees the newest research.
You go, Miss Williams. Digging them facts to us.
Hey.
Letting us know. We appreciate it.
Hey, anytime I be seeing anything about science, like, you know, how they was talking about when the COVID was going on, they talking about the 5G towers and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, man.
What happened with COVID and the 5G towers?
Like you recall how they were saying that the 5G towers could be the reason why, COVID is going on. You know, people just trying to make up all these reasons why.
I never heard that. And look, I worked for the telecommunication company at that time. I never got that one. Okay.
Man, yeah. So
it's all the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So, she came out with a post, or no, I actually reached out to her, I think, like on a post, like, is this true? And then she like came with facts. And I'm like, yeah, man, I knew this 5G stuff wasn't real. People just making up stuff.
Wow, that's crazy. Who comes up with something?
I don't know. They were saying people who had 5G devices, are more likely to, carry, spread it, something like that. Just something stupid. And so you get people all the time, not people all the time, but people just posting all this. If you got a 5G, you better be careful. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, Lord.
You got 2 legs, you probably a carrier of it.
I'm like, man. But yeah, anyway, Joe, we definitely appreciate everything that you brought to the show. We know you ain't going nowhere, like forever. We know just right now you got to take care of it. You got to take care of it because you're about to have a little one in the world. And we all hope and pray that it is a successful and healthy delivery.
Yes.
We know that
baby Mia and baby Sasha, aka Thickums, will be birthday twins. Come on, December 29th.
Yeah, so we know that you won't be a part of Ladies Night next month, but I'm telling you, everyone, when y'all see the lineup that we have next month on the 6th of January, I'm telling you, Ladies Night is only going to get better. Maybe Joe will be back by February or hopefully March for that show. But yeah, Ladies Night is going to be that deal next month. So get ready. Stay tuned. It's going to be crazy. Our show next week is going to be another incredible show. We have another St. Louis legend. And guess what? I will not announce it right now. You just got to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, and you'll find out tomorrow who will be.
What a tease.
Exactly. Ryan Seacrest.
I like it.
Ryan Seacrest, holla at your boy. Yes. And I will say, if you're still watching, Jerron, you'll be happy about this one. But yeah, we have a great show again next week. Shout out to Loren Woods for coming through. Another great guest. Great stories, funny guy. He's hoping for that vehicle from Jahadi White.
That range.
I started laughing whenever you were teasing him about your high school. Me and Brenda were like, "Oh, it's Fred's school. That's who it has to be."
You know, he doesn't do anybody else's high school like that. He was always making sure that in. Like,
yep.
The one that y'all could never beat. It's the one that y'all just had your hottie all sad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Joe, of course, I'll be chatting with you at work, until your last day. But in regards to the platform Sports Talk Show, once again, thank you and the best of health to you.
You're in your spot. Don't worry, honey.
Yes.
I'll be watching. When me and Mia will be watching. We'll be listening then.
There we
She's
go.
Coming out the womb, hearing about sports. That's what I like. Yes.
To Stan, he's working on a special project, so he couldn't be here tonight. Hopefully, he'll be joining us next week. And for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you all enjoy another great show. It's the Platform Sports Talk Show. Don't forget, like our videos on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure y'all go on YouTube as well. Subscribe. Click on that.
Ew.
Because anytime we go live.
You know what? You will be notified.
There you go. So, Bunny, you keep adding these ad libs too. I like it. You keep adding more to it. See, back then, look, the first 3 or 4 shows, she forgot what to say. Now she just add more stuff to it. That's the confidence. It just oozing out.
Oh my gosh.
Hell you, baby.
Gross. I'm afraid to look at the old videos. I'm like, oh, I look kind of like that.
Oh man, you be like, what's that word? Bail.
Exactly.
I'll be wording it to myself whenever you guys are doing it. Like I know whenever you need to put in the word bell and all this other stuff, I'll be saying it to myself.
All right, y'all. So we out of here on another Wednesday. No matter where y'all are, be safe. Have a good one.
Mask up, stay healthy.
It's the Platform Sports Talk Show when it's about sports.
It becomes our business.
And business just picked up. And see, Bunny add a little sass to it. You see, look at you, Bunny.
You have to let them know. Hey, we talking about business.
There it is.
You gotta let them know.
Hey, as Stanley said, business is booming. All right, y'all. And with that, we out. Right. We out.